The entire U.S. Navy is running on XP.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Thursday, June 25th, 2015. Time once again for your Gitmo Nation Media Assassination episode 733.
This is No Agenda.
Celebrating 100% New Zealand wool products and broadcasting live from FEMA Region 6 here in the capital of the Drone Star State, Austin, Tejas. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where it looks like we're going to have a scorcher, which is rare because it's summer. I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Craig and Buzzkill
in the morning.
All right. How's the printer cleaning cycle?
It's just cleaning away. I don't know what it's up to.
Will this hamper the show in any way?
Well, I don't have my clip list.
Ooh.
I mean, I could look at it on the email, but that's not the same. It's not what I'm used to. It's not my regimen.
Well, should we be concerned?
No, we shouldn't be concerned. I can remember most of the clips.
Hey, have you seen Oprah, right?
Excuse me?
You've seen Oprah's show, right? Obviously. You know Oprah. You know where Oprah, I don't know if she still does it, the Oprah Book Club?
Yeah.
Where when she mentions a book on the show, it's sold out everywhere?
Yeah, that's what she does.
Yeah. Well, we, John, you and I, are the...
You sold out a book?
We are the Oprah of dryer balls. I got to tell you, you can't find a dryer ball on Amazon or eBay anywhere.
Oh, Etsy?
I don't know about Etsy.
That's where I got mine.
But this thing's gone viral, man.
Dryer ball's the way to go.
Dryer balls are viral. I got my dryer balls. Did you get yours?
No, I have not gotten my dryer balls yet. I've ordered a special pack of 3 small balls and 3 large balls.
Okay, well, I got a sack of 6 balls. And these are
interesting enough.
Yeah, these are 100% New Zealand
So you have
wool.
a sack of 6 balls.
I do.
Okay.
And it's funny you say that because the instructions tell me how to use these. Let us do a little legacy, the genesis of the dryer balls, where by pure coincidence, John found out that I was using dryer sheets and was appalled.
You said you were using dryer sheets. That's the coincidence.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that's not a coincidence. You made a statement, and then I told you.
Okay. All right. We were talking about something else, and then coincidentally, we happened upon the dryer sheets. My use of them.
I'm trying to think how that came about.
I was talking
soft, fluffy underwear.
No. I was talking about lint. Lintitis.
Oh, right. You had lintitis.
Yes, the urge to pull off the lint from the dryer filter in one piece.
Yeah.
And then you mop up the rest.
Sense, being Tourette's, yeah. That's got to be Tourette's connected.
You mop up the rest of the little fragments with your dryer sheet. And John went, what?
Well, I didn't do that, but I said, what?
You use dryer sheets, and then
what? You use dryer sheets, and then that's where it began.
Yes, and then you sent me an email, a follow-up, a private email, not even related to the show, just because you love me, and said, "Hey, man, here's what's in these dryer sheets. And there's all kinds of chemicals that are even on the EPA's dangerous list, or
yeah. And my joke in the email was, these are the kind of things you want to wash out of your clothes.
Yes. Oh, I laughed so hard. Yeah,
clothes.
It was very funny. Very funny. And so then we stumbled upon an alternative, which is these dryer balls. So let me read from the instructions. How do Smart Sheep dryer balls work? Wool dryer balls work by bouncing around in your dryer, lifting and separating clothing, and increasing hot air flow. They cut down drying time, which saves you money on energy costs. Why are wool dryer balls better than fabric sheets? Fabric sheets use harsh chemicals to soften clothing, which are toxic to the environment, not to mention to humans. Wool dryer balls are a nature-friendly alternative. Our dryer balls are handmade in Nepal with 100% New Zealand wool. In the instructions, is obviously turn on dryer, insert dryer balls, watch your clothes dry faster while your clothes get softer. The more balls you use, the faster they will dry. And then there's... Are you with me, or are you working on the printer?
Well, I'm aghast, actually, what you've read.
Oh?
My dryer balls came from a woman that has her own sheep in the United States.
Oh, nice.
I'm not importing my dryer balls from Nepal.
You have foreign balls.
No, you have foreign balls.
I have foreign balls. Yeah, you got American balls.
Exactly.
Now, did you know that if you want a medium load, you should use 3 to 4 balls?
I didn't know that.
For larger loads, use 5 to 6 balls.
No, I think that's overdue. What do you need that many for? The thing must be making a racket in there.
You can never have too many balls.
Well, have you tried these things instead of? I'm getting the joke here. Have you tried these things at all?
Yeah, they're good. It works.
How many balls did you use?
Well, I only required a medium load, so I used 3 balls.
Okay,
but I'm going to try a medium load up on my balls.
Now, are these balls like tennis balls?
They're exactly like tennis balls. I think this is fake.
I think you got ripped off.
It's a tennis ball. There you go.
Well, when I get my real ones from the American,
the American balls,
as her own sheep, I will report back.
I feel that Eric the Shill has a unique opportunity. I know he closed No Agenda Nation, the store, but can you imagine No Agenda dryer balls? Come on, this is a hit. I'm telling you, someone's gonna go to town, and we're gonna be sitting here once again going, "I wish you would have."
Well, it's okay. We've never always allowed people to do that.
Yeah, but
the T-shirts, people experiment.
We need to get in on the action from time to time.
Well, that's what we've decided. It's probably not our forte.
Okay, you're clearly distracted by your printer cleaning its heads.
No, I had to reset it in the meantime. So I'm never going to be able to print out the clips. I'm going to have to go load them onto the screen.
Well, I have an idea. Hold on. Let me do something for you. Okay, I'm going to take a screenshot here of the clip list. Check this out. This will be great. And I'm going to crop it. Here we go. Boom. And I'm going to zoom it. Nice. Save. And I'm going to send this to you on Skype, and then you will be good.
Oh, it'll be one whole complete? It won't have to have 3, because I sent it as 3.
It'll be one complete. Yeah. Watch.
Oh, okay.
No, you'll love this. Watch this. Watch what I did. Ready?
We'll see.
Okay. Accept. There we go.
Didn't get anything.
Yeah, it's coming. Right.
There it is. You don't accept anymore.
Oh, really?
They've changed it.
Well, that seems to be
You get an image on the screen with a down arrow.
Oh.
And without anybody telling you to do anything, you have to somehow know psychically to click on that down arrow. Now, a lot of people look at the down arrow and say, well, there's something down here below. I don't, because that's what it looks like. It doesn't look like it means download, but that's what it is. So this is the new. So it doesn't say accept or anything. It's just a complete crap.
Yeah. So this is
the file is a ping with incorrect extension.
This is a program that is financed and sponsored and, dare I say, produced entirely by the audience. Unlike mainstream media, but even
this is a good list.
There's a native ad that popped up, it wasn't even so native because it has a big payoff at the end. And it's our friend, Bill Nye, the climate guy.
Oh.
And he has something called emoji science.
Emoji science. Wow.
The guy's, listen to it and then listen to the payoff. And you can see who's really behind all this green initiative.
Hey, Bill Nye here for the Emoji Science Lab.
Woo!
This episode, climate change. Climate change is a real deal, everybody, and here's why. If we had some extraordinary car on some extraordinary highway and we could drive...
Hold on, stop. Climate's a real deal, and here's why. And now what he's going to follow with is the reason?
Yeah. With imaginary cars and imaginary highways.
Huh.
Yeah, this is for the kids, John. This is for the kids. And this is how they're being indoctrinated by the funny man with the bow tie. Hey, I'm a clown, everybody.
It's a real deal, everybody, and here's why. If we had some extraordinary car on some extraordinary highway and we could drive somehow straight up for an hour at highway speed, we'd be in outer space. Woo. It's right there. The atmosphere is really thin. Now, back in 1750, there were about 1.5 billion people in the world. Well, today, there's 7.2 going on 7.3 billion people.
The people are the problem. Kill them.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
There's billions of people.
Yeah, kill them.
Breathing and
that's the problem.
Burning the same thin atmosphere. Back in 1750, when James Watt created the first workable steam engine, there were about 250 parts per million of carbon dioxide.
Okay, I can't hear any more of this guy.
Take it to the payoff, man. It's worth it. Who do you think is sponsoring this emoji science show?
Chevron.
Close.
Atmosphere. Carbon dioxide's good. It holds in heat, keeps our Earth toasty and warm for us humans. But now, there are over 400 parts per million. It's the speed, it's the rate that we're changing things that's causing all this trouble. Climate is changing, and it's because you and I are living here. Now, what should we do? Run in circles?
What?
What should we do? Kill ourselves.
Yeah.
That's what he's implying.
Yeah.
Screaming, no! Let's get to work. Let's use electricity. We can generate it renewably from wind and solar. And then the key is we have to move it around the world through cool new transmission lines that someone's going to invent and develop and fund and distribute. And then if we had a better battery, a better system of better scheme of electrical energy storage, we could, dare I say it, change the world. Thanks for visiting GE's Emoji Science Lab to learn and feel more.
GE, makers of gas turbines.
GE.
GE. Can you believe the gall? The gall.
Well, I didn't want to start yet another show with this topic, but since you did.
It's unavoidable.
You can move it deeper into the show, but let's play the Dutch court on global warming so we get a little feeling for what's going on in Holland.
A Dutch court ruled today that the Netherlands must cut greenhouse gas emissions. The climate ruling ordered reductions of at least 25% below 1990 levels by 2020. Environmental activists said the case lays the legal groundwork for similar action in other countries.
You will obey. You will obey.
This is exactly what it is. This is how the European Union works. They set their goals, which are they're higher than you think. I had a clip about the Dutch regulations.
Well, I have another clip then.
Okay, all right.
Which is this is just a casual clip, just to show you how all in there. Now this is a clip that's going to be kind of like an Ask Adam, because I have to ask you if the assertions made in this clip are true at all. This is Netherlands and its future.
The country is bounded by the North Sea. Where there are no natural dunes to keep the sea out, the Dutch have had to build mighty walls or dikes to protect their farms and communities. Roughly half the people and half the land here in the Netherlands are below sea level. And for 700 years, the Dutch have developed their expertise at keeping this country dry. It's a constant battle. And now with climate change and rising sea levels a reality, the work is that much harder and more expensive.
Yeah.
Even with impressive dikes already in place, the Dutch are moving mountains of sand and mud to fortify their dikes and protect their next generation. Famous for both their frugality and their foresight, the Dutch are investing billions of euros as climate change makes its costly impact felt on sea level communities here and around the globe.
Well, yes.
Is that right? Are the communities in the
danger?
Sea level community
In peril? In danger?
Are they all getting flooded? What's going on? Come on, tell us.
I will tell you. In 1952, there was a huge disaster in the Netherlands.
Oh, yeah.
Ben, the dikes broke, and it was really after this, in 1952, that the Delta Works were started. And the Dutch, without doubt, have a lot of experience with water. But of course, the Netherlands, the name says it, really wasn't a country. It didn't exist. So they dredged it out and they created a country, which is with the dike system. That's why they have windmills. Amsterdam, the entire city is built on piles. Poles? What do you call them in English? The
poles.
Yeah, exactly. You stick a shovel anywhere in the Netherlands in the ground, you're going to get water within a foot or two. But the Netherlands belongs to the sea, so. Well,
is it worse? Is it worsening? Because it sounds to me that it's worsening.
No.
It sounds like it's just borderline. It's going to be flooded out.
We're all going to die. Yeah. No.
That's what he said.
I know. It's just not happening.
So everybody's fretting. They're all sitting around wringing their hands.
Every day, people sit around in circles at Dutch birthday parties, fretting about the water.
Well, they said anyway, but I mean, just in general.
No.
Okay.
No.
I just want to get that straight, so I know they're just feeding the American public a bunch of bull crap.
Yeah.
Is that what you're implying?
Yes. It's also a fun way to say dike a lot.
Ah.
Yeah. The solution, of course, to your dikes is your dryer balls. Here is my report on I think this has a little more EU information in it.
A Dutch court has ordered its own government to reduce greenhouse gas emissions at a faster rate than it's planning to do. A judge in The Hague said that in 5 years' time, Dutch emissions had to be 25% lower than 1990 levels. The government plans cuts of only 14 to 17%. Woo. Campaigners on behalf of hundreds of Dutch citizens had brought the case, said to be the world's first climate liability suit. The ruling said the country had to take a lead and couldn't hide behind arguments that an international response was needed. But it's not clear how the decision will be enforced, and the government can appeal. The EU has set a reduction target of 40% in carbon emissions by 2030. A major global conference is due later this year.
40%, sure, that'll happen. Now, what happened in the past week, you may not have heard about it because we were too busy burning flags in America, which we'll have to talk about. Taking flags down, that's going to solve racism. Woo! No flags, no racism. The EPA released their big climate change strategy document, quite lengthy. I haven't even gotten through it all myself. And EPA boss, Gina McCarthy, she's the director of the Environmental Protection Agency, who has a lot of power to make rules that will affect everyone's lives, went out on a tear. She was out on promoting this thing and talking to everybody, talking about it. And I found, there was a summit, the Public Health and Climate Change Summit. But before I play that, I'd like to play an appearance on CNN with our buddy Michaela over there, talking about maybe I should ask you this. By 2100, the year 2100, how many people, if we don't act now, how many people do you think, John, will die from climate change?
Millions.
We're going to avoid the damages that otherwise would happen if we continue to have our heads in the sand.
Okay, so heads in the sand. You probably get a chance to make this argument all the time. Dinner parties at the bus stop, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to give you...
What does that mean? You get to make this at dinner parties and the bus stop?
She takes buses?
Yeah. Somehow, I'll bet you Gina McCarthy has a security detail.
Yeah, and they're driving a gas guzzler.
Buses.
A chance to do it here. Yeah. How do you convince somebody who, as you say, has their head in the sand, who says, I don't buy it, I don't believe this, I think it's just a bunch of tripe rhetoric? How do you convince somebody who says, no, climate change isn't how we're making it out to be?
Well, Michaela, you'd be surprised, but most of the people that I meet on the streets ask us why we're not doing more.
Is she out on the street meeting people? While she's waiting at the bus stop?
She's not meeting anyone.
While she's waiting at the
streets.
The bus stop.
Hey, buddy, what do you think? You're not doing enough.
Business communities come forward. Businesses come forward and say, why isn't government doing more?
Okay, fair enough. But what about the critics? Because they're vocal.
Lies.
They are vocal. The critics are vocal who are deniers. But the rest of the people really want...
Bear that in mind, the deniers. We'll be talking about that later.
Government to provide the leadership we were brought here to provide, which is to keep them safe and healthy and to hand the world to our children in a shape that we can be proud of. Climate change is not a belief system. It is a fact. Woo! This is science.
Facts.
So EPA is putting the science on the table. We're providing all the information, and we're showing that, in fact, if you actually take action today, you will save significant lives.
Oh, how many, John? You said millions? Millions, right?
Millions.
Thousands of lives every year.
Thousands of lives.
What's the trouble?
You are going to save precious resources that we all care about. You're going to address issues of extreme drought. You're going to reduce the amount of acreage that's destroyed by wildfires. And this is an important issue that we all need to embrace. It's not political.
What?
How is acreage destroyed by wildfires? I have an acre.
Are you questioning things, citizen?
And there is a bunch of weeds on it. And then all of a sudden it goes into gets part of a wildfire. How is the acre gone?
Well, that's a good point. Yeah, your acre's not, no, it's not gone.
It's science.
Wildfire is usually what it is. I mean, there is instances where a wildfire is a forest. But again, the acreage is still there.
I'm with you, brother. I'm with you.
Brother.
I'm I'm with you, brother.
To embrace. It's not political. It's science, and we can do this. We always have.
Gina McCarthy, thank you so much. We should let you know at home that CNN is taking a look at the difference just 2 degrees Celsius could make in changing the world we live in and how we can prevent a global catastrophe before it happens. You can
shut up already. It's science.
So CNN, they have this new digital studios division where they're making native advertising. And this is one of them. They're being paid. I don't have
General Electric.
I don't have a receipt. No, they're being paid by the EPA.
Oh, the EPA has a budget now for promotion.
Yes, huge. So they have this CNN.com/2 degrees. I'll just play this.
This is just made up.
Oh yeah. Well, it's too bad.
Well, they make it 10 degrees and really frighten the public.
It's too bad we don't have video, but you can even hear on the sound effects of this short little promo reel that's on the CNN.com/2 degrees, which you won't see on television. This is purely paid for by the United States government to propagate the 2 degree meme.
2 degrees Celsius. It's probably the most important number you've never heard of. Environmental policy experts say that temperature, 2 degrees Celsius or 3.6 Fahrenheit, may be the edge of the cliff for climate change. Woo! If global average temperatures warm more than that, will greatly up the odds of new and worsening climate catastrophes.
Do you hear all this? You see the Earth
explosions.
The Earth is exploding and burning. There's danger signs flashing on the screen.
Stay below that mark, and we may be able to avoid some of the worst aspects of global warming.
Oh,
think super droughts, mass extinctions, and extreme sea level rise.
Mass extinctions, John. Mass extinctions.
Mass extinction meme is a big deal. I saw that in a number of shows, and it was all based more or less on what I talked about on the last show, which is the guy, that Ehrlich guy from Stanford.
Yeah.
Getting back in the game because I guess he needs to get a book out or he's running out of money. I'm not sure what the point of it is,
or
but
both.
Something like that.
Which will hit coastal cities.
That's part of it.
They have the extreme sea level rise, and they show the Manhattan skyline with the water like halfway up the Empire State Building.
That's it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
When we burn gas in our cars or coal in our power plants,
notice there's no natural gas discussed here.
We're adding carbon to the atmosphere and warming the planet. Scientists say the Earth's surface temperature has warmed 0.85 degrees Celsius since 1880, the Industrial Revolution. If we want to slow climate change, we're going to have to cut back and fast. If we don't, the world could hit 2 degrees.
Yeah, this is why we have the new regulations for air travel. It's not just going to cut back fast, it's going to cost you more.
Celsius in just a few decades. This simple little...
All right, but anyway, you get the idea. Now let me just, with that in mind, with the temperature in mind, let us go to the Public Health and Climate Change Summit. This was a White House summit. Was not on C-SPAN, but could only find it on YouTube. 3.5 hours I sat through this crap. And finally, there she was, our hero with her cape on, her climate cape. Director of EPA, Gina McCarthy. Here's how she starts her little ditty with of course, you want to start with a little humor.
Hey, everybody, how's it going so far?
Woo!
Great. That was not a resounding, wake up now.
Wake up now, slaves! Wake! That is the worst thing you can do when you're on stage.
Wake up!
Isn't that the worst thing you can do?
Well, it's insulting.
Yeah, everyone's like...
It's also insulting to whoever's putting on the conference.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's completely
it's insulting to everybody. It's a very insulting thing to say.
Hey, everybody, how's it going so far? Great. That was not a resounding, wake up now.
Wake up! I demand you break your conditioning.
I know you. I just want to let you know. Do not go outside. It's very bad. So you're lucky that you're in here. It's toasty outside. I wonder what that could be all about. Why?
Oh, she's a riot.
Well, I wonder what that could be all about.
I'll be here all the week.
So the crowd is obviously slanted. Now we heard the thousands of people number. And I really like this. I only have 2 clips from her from this 3.5 hours with panels and all kinds of jabronis. But she's going to give us an exact number of how many thousands of people will die.
I like that.
Yeah.
And so take a look at that. If the only thing your friend cares about is fishing, if they like cold water trout, tell them to read section I don't know what in the report.
She doesn't even know what the section is in the report.
They'll find themselves there.
Yeah.
If they care about saving 57,000 people who will actually die prematurely in the year 2100 alone in the United States if we don't take global climate action than have them read the whole report.
Now, so what I'm hearing her say is if we do not take action, immediate action,
it always has to be immediate.
57,000 people will die prematurely because, of course, we all die prematurely by the year 2100. I mean, we could. It's almost as many people who die from automobile accidents.
No, automobiles 40 to 50.
Yeah, so almost. So,
no, almost reversed. It's more than people. More than yeah.
Well, almost can't. You're picky today. Can't almost.
No, you said
is almost. Is almost.
It's not. It's more than.
No. Almost could. If it was less than, it would be less than or almost. If it's more than, it's more than or almost. Yeah, I'm sorry.
What?
Yeah, yes. Almost means it's in the neighborhood, not plus or minus.
No, almost means it's less than.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's not just about public health in one section. It's about being able to take action today to save 12,000 people that will be dying from extreme heat. You can believe it today if you go outside.
So 57.
You can't. They used to always say weather's not climate. Now she's claiming on a hot day. You can use that as an example.
No, proof that 12,000 people a month will die.
You're talking about people, if they're worried about wildfires, we're going to have 64% more acres burning every single year.
Let's write this down, John, for the year 2100 so we can check the exactity of 64%. He's good.
In the year 2100 if we don't do something about it.
But what is it really about, Gina?
If we do something about it today, we can save acreage the size of Maryland every year.
Let's burn Maryland instead.
What do you want?
How are you going to save the size of Maryland? Save it from what? From the
burning
heights coming up.
Yeah.
Acreage the size of Maryland. Every year. What do you want to choose here, folks?
But I would like.
The Al Gore thing shows that Maryland's not. It's not going to be the size of Maryland if the floods come in. Half the country's going to be underwater.
But we mock this because
can people make up their minds?
It's so mockable, and it's. Does anyone not see that this is insanity to save 57,000 people from premature death? So maybe they die at 70.
You can see the insanity.
Yeah. Well, of course, it's really about one thing.
So we are doing everything we can to engage the public where they live, the things that they care about. Because we all know that we all care about our kids' future. We all care about our own public health. But frankly, it's all about the kids.
Oh, won't somebody please think of the children?
All right. And
did you just set the whole thing up just to run that clip?
No, I actually have the second clip is pretty good. All right.
Okay, you're on a roll.
I'm on a roll.
I hope we don't do this again.
What, the Gina McCarthy thing?
No, the last 5 shows we started off with the same topic. But like I said, you're on a roll. Let's wrap. Let's go.
Right.
We will not only deliver for you what you want your government to deliver.
This is about us. She's talking to us, John. She's about to talk to us.
What you expect our government to deliver, but we will be able to hold on to those deliverables because we will
deliverables.
You're
going to work for Silicon Valley now.
I think in this case, you just want to listen to what she's saying.
Okay.
Voice of all of the people, not just a minority. Because when I put a report out on acting on climate like we did yesterday, that shows how dramatically our world will change if we don't act, and just the benefits we can deliver if we do, I am doing that not to push back on climate deniers. You can have fun doing that if you want, but I've batted my head against the wall too many times, and if the science already hasn't changed their mind, it never will. But in any democracy, it's not them that carries the day. It is normal human beings.
You are not normal, Mr. Dvorak.
You a-holes who keep questioning these computer models.
You are not normal. Wait, there's more.
That haven't put their stake in to politics above science. It's normal human beings that want us to do the right thing, and we will if you help us. Thank you very much.
Good night, Cleveland. Woo! Fuck the only normal people, not those crazies. Normal people. Normal. All right. Then to wrap this up, because I am going somewhere, I was blown away by Senator Ted Cruz. And but now these facts need to be checked. But I liked what he said.
Big government energy mandates don't stop with ethanol. There are tax credits for almost every form of energy, each designed to give one industry a leg up over the other. There's enhanced oil recovery credits for producing oil and gas from marginal wells. There's an advanced nuclear power generation credit, clean coal investment credits.
Now, at first I was thinking to myself, okay, isn't he a Republican? Isn't he supposed to, to be all in on big oil and big everything and not even supposed to promote nuclear? What's going on? I'm confused. He must have a point.
And a credit for plug-in electric and fuel cell vehicles. And, of course, the infamous wind production tax credit.
The infamous wind production tax credit. So infamous, not even we have heard of it.
I've never heard of it. I didn't know if it infamous, you'd think you'd know about it.
Yeah, well, we don't know about it, but he has the numbers, our Ted here.
A 2-year extension of wind credits alone cost taxpayers more than $13 billion.
That seems like a lot of money.
Sounds like we should get a generator.
So he's going to equate this to something which I found very important.
Which is enough to pay the monthly electricity bills for 124 million Americans. How about putting that up for a referendum? Do we continue to benefit one favored industry, or do we pay the electricity bill for 124 million Americans? You know what? I don't think that would be a close vote for the American people.
I don't know. Let's take a vote. Would you like to have wind power subsidies, John, or no electricity bill?
I'd love to own a wind farm now.
Yeah. Do you think that's true?
Well, of course. I mean, he's right, but I never heard of this.
Neither have I.
This is very interesting.
But if he uses that, this is if it can't be debunked by some fuzzy crap that he's based this on, that's pretty strong. I like it. First time Ted Cruz has said something where he didn't sound really icky, and I kind of liked what he said.
Well, you're not looking at him either.
No, I looked at him when I made the clip, believe me.
Okay.
But it's like everybody in politics is harsh to look at. Jeez, I've watched all of the... this was almost 4 hours. The OPM, the Office of Personnel and Management.
I hope you got something out of it.
I did. Yeah,
because I watched it and went, "There's nothing here. I can't get it."
Did you watch the whole thing? You watched the whole thing?
Of course not.
Oh, okay.
You already admitted you were watching it, so I didn't have to worry about it.
Okay, this will be interesting for our dude's name Ben. We have a lot of people who are technologists, some still tech horny, who listen to the program, and I like what was going on here for a couple of reasons. One, there were some fantastic memes that were brought in, obviously all to shepherd in more money for cybersecurity. And this is really what it's all about. But I will say, just to give you a little bit of the severity, I asked some of our producing friends who produce the show, do they now know exactly what kind of information on them that was in this? And this also goes to the USIS. These are the guys, that's the... it's a contract to USIS, who you'll hear about in a moment. They're the ones that do all the background checks. They do it so well. Remember the background check on the guy in the Navy Yard who shot up the place? Shot up the place, yeah.
Although he just seemed to be jumping around from the video.
So when you have when you have a background check performed on you, all that data goes into the OPM database, the Office of Personnel and Management.
Got to be great.
So here is some of the things that have been exposed. I quote, everywhere I've lived, this is from one of our producers, everywhere I've lived, in most cases since the age of 18, credit history, including account numbers, bank information, including account numbers, names and addresses of our immediate family members, names and addresses of our closest friends, landlord mortgage company account numbers with names and addresses, criminal history, mental health or health information if related to employment history, basic information in question, which people just had to justify, such as credit problems, unemployment periods, divorce, people they've lived with, any foreigners they've associated with. This is all the information that was exfiltrated, stolen. That's concerning. That's a lot of information. I could assume an identity.
Have a lot of fun with that information if you're a criminal.
You sure can. Now, everyone is lying. And there's 3 or 4 different contractors on this panel, all pointing at each other. One is a security tool, and then we have the USIS, who are under investigation for fraud, which we'll get to in a moment. And we have this fabulous woman, Anne Baron de Camille, who works for Department of Homeland Security for CERT, which is the Cyber Emergency Response Team, who do a pretty good job, I think, of notifying the technology world when something is awry. But we'll start with a little tete-a-tete between Shavitz. We like Shavitz. He's funny. And he really set the director of OPM up on this one. And, he does that well. He does, yeah. And this one he had really well set up. And he's going to bring in the CIO, who I think they already got to. It seems to be like, so the CIO is this woman named Seymour. And whenever her boss, I would say, her director said, no, there was nothing stolen, nothing was gone. But of course, she's using slippery language, because what she means is no PII was stolen, personal identifying information, even though it was. So when you hear PII, you know what it is. But just listen to Shavitz set her up and then use her CIO, or Chief Information Officer, to really catch her in a huge lie.
Yes, there was a breach into our system. Was there any information lost? As I've just said to you, there was no PII lost.
That's not what I asked you. I asked, did you lose any information?
You would have to ask the forensic team.
I'm asking you if any information was lost.
I'll get back to you with that answer, sir.
Lying much?
I believe you know the answer to this question.
Can you imagine sitting there and having this going on? My ass would be sweaty. I feel really bad for this woman, dog face.
You believe I know?
Huh?
She deserves it.
Of course.
The answer to the question.
Did they take any information when they hacked into the computers?
I have been advised by my CIO and our forensic team that no PII was.
No, that's not what I asked you. We'll take as long as you want here.
I'm sorry.
I did not ask if they just exfiltrated PII. I'm asking you, did they take any other information?
What would be relevant of information that was taken, if there was, John? Would there be anything worth mentioning if you're the director?
Well, I don't know, because I don't know what Chaffee's I don't know what Chaffee's doing. Right. I don't know what he's trying to get out of her.
Well, here we go.
I know he's setting her up, but I don't know what, because I haven't heard this.
Oh, you're going to love it.
I will get back to you.
I know you know the answer to this question. Ms. Seymour, did they...
She's the CIO, Seymour.
...take any other information?
In the March 2014 incident, the adversaries did not have access to data on our network. They did have access to some documents, and they did take some documents from the network.
Oh, documents. All right, dude's named Ben, get ready to laugh.
What were those documents?
Those documents were some outdated security documents about our systems and some manuals about our systems.
Well, let me see. I've got some security information. Let me store this on the system. That's where I'd store it.
What kind of manuals?
Manuals about...
What?
It's like storing your password in a file that says password, not text.
Exactly.
The servers and the environment.
Is it fair to say, is that like a blueprint for the system?
It would be fair to say that would give you enough information that you could learn about the platform, the infrastructure of our system, yes.
But they did take information.
Yes, sir, they did.
Do you believe it was a breach of security?
Yes, sir, I do.
So, Ms. Archuleta, when we rewind the tape and look at the WJLA TV interview that you did on July 21st.
Here's the dagger. It's up against her abdomen. He's about to thrust it in.
You said, again, we did not have a breach in security. There was no information that was lost. That was false, wasn't it?
I was referring to PII.
No, you weren't. That wasn't the question. That was not the question. You said, and I quote, there was no information that was lost. Is that accurate or inaccurate?
Now, just so you know, he's talking about the March 2014 breach.
Yeah, it's the first one.
This is the first one, where what they took were documents, outdated documents about, the password.txt file, And nothing was done at that point about that breach.
The understanding that I had of that question at that time referred to PII.
It was misleading, it was a lie, and it wasn't true. When this plays out, we're going to find that this was the step that allowed them to come back and why we're in this mess today.
And you will hang. You will hang, lady. So I think he did a good job on that. He was completely set up. Then they pass the mic around, the talking stick, who gets to talk next. And then we bring in Wahlberg, Republican from Michigan. This is kind of I like his voice. He's kind of an older type dude. And he's the meme master.
Address, date of birth, job, and pay history, and more that could be there. For years, we've been hearing about the risk of a cyber Pearl Harbor. Is this a cyber Pearl Harbor?
Yeah. He's talking to Anne Baron de Camille, who is a Silicon Valley uptalker of epic proportions.
The impact associated with the data breach that was confirmed, the records that were taken out of the personal records, is what we would call on a severity scale a significant impact.
Significant impact. What does significant impact mean?
Meaning that the data, if it was correlated with other data sources, could be, severely. It could impact the environment as well as the individual.
The environment.
The environment meaning.
The fact that they were able to take the data out of the environment, that's a significant impact to the environment, and ensuring that they are able to mitigate the ability that the attacker used to get into that environment. And then the fact that that data was exfilled is also considered to be a high significant impact.
Exfilled, John. You got to say exfilled, not exfiltrated, but exfilled.
Impact.
So it's blown up.
Blown up.
Sorry?
It's blown up a lot of things.
It's blown up.
It
protection, security. It's a Pearl Harbor.
That's not a term I'm comfortable with using, but when the severity scale that we use, this is
it's pretty significant.
Yeah, it would be medium to high significance. Yes.
I love that.
It's a Pearl Harbor.
It's a Pearl Harbor, Mr. President. It's a Pearl Harbor. So that meme is back. But there's something else going on here, and Representative Liu of California. What?
I'm doing something. Don't pay attention to me.
Well, then can you do it quietly?
I have concerns not just about the...
Here's what's going on. This is not just about cyber. There's a whole secondary agenda happening here regarding USIS, the guys who do the background checks, who went bankrupt and then were acquired by another company who refuses to let anyone see any of their information, even though they are a government contractor. And all of those guys got huge bonuses. The CEO got $1 million bonus while all of this crap was going on.
I have concerns not just about the failures of OPM leadership, but also the failures of its contractors, in particular USIS, because it looks like what happened here wasn't just recklessness or negligence, it was fraud. And I want to know how far up this fraud went. I want to know if the parent company knew about it. I want to know if the hedge fund managers that funded these companies knew about it. So let me begin with Mr. McFarland. As you know, the Department of Justice joined a lawsuit against USIS in January for defrauding the government under its contract with OPM. And according to the Justice Department filing, and I quote, beginning in at least March 2008 and continuing through at least September 2012, USIS management devised and executed a scheme to deliberately circumvent contractually required quality reviews of completed background investigations in order to increase the company's revenues and profits. You assisted their investigation in this case, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And as I understand it, the parent company, Altegrity, paid bonuses to top executives at USIS during the period of the fraud that amounted to nearly $30 million. Mr. McFarland, to your knowledge, has USIS or Altegrity paid the government back for those bonuses?
I'm not positive, but I believe not.
All right, let me enter into the record, Mr. Chairman, if possible, an article from the Wall Street Journal entitled Altegrity Executives Got Payout Before Screener Went Bankrupt.
Okay. So there's some secondary agendas. We have to move different because, this guy doesn't give a crap about the public. He just wants to get his contractors in, no doubt. This was, of course, the work of Chinese hackers. This was stated as fact, was it not, John? Chinese hackers that broke in?
It was it was never officially said. It was almost like leaked as.
Mm-hmm.
The public at large, the average person that would be all in on global warming, as the other woman pointed out, that average person would...
If you
asked them on the street, they would say Chinese hackers.
Normal person. A normal person.
That's right, I'm sorry. Right. Normal person would think it's Chinese. Well,
let's get it right straight from the horse's mouth then. Or the basset hound, as it were.
These people are on the front line. They're
This is Micah.
Overseas, and they're representing us. And I could hear concern in their voice about what has taken place. Now, I've read, is it Chinese hackers? Does anyone know? Was it Chinese? Do we know for sure? Do you know for sure?
That's classified information, sir.
Oh, I guess it's not so sure then. Why would it be classified if everyone already knows that it's the Chinese?
Why would it be classified? I'm asking you.
You ask me. I have no idea. I think it's a lie. It's a lie.
It's a lie.
All right, the final clip. This is something the dude's name Ben will enjoy. Of course, when you are tracking things for security, your friend is your log files. So you can see who logged in, what they did, where they were roaming around. Probably a little more than just your typical D-message log file, but some real log files. Let's go to the Silicon Valley girl and Baron DeCamillo from Department of Homeland Security, and let's see why could they not figure out who had broken in and why they broke into the system in the March 2014 breach.
Yes. So our team was on site. It was an interagency response team, including our law enforcement partners. We worked just part of the incident response team. What we do is we're working with the system administrators daily.
Don't you love her? It's managers and part of the emergency response team.
We're informing them every day at the end of the day.
How many days did you inform them on a daily basis?
We were there for about 2 weeks.
And by the way, she knows her shit don't stink. And she's probably really right on the money, but she's giving us information which is abhorrent.
I have to go back and get the specific time frame.
So that's at least 10 reports that you've given them.
But we worked through the weekend, ma'am.
Through the weekend.
Oh my God, they worked through the weekend, John.
Holy crap, they worked through the weekend.
Ma'am. Yeah, they should get a little star on her forehead.
It's 14 reports that they were given, asserting what the
daily findings, and they can change. So that's why we.
And did you find something? And did you give them ideas about what needed to be done?
Yes, we were able to discover that there was malicious malware present on the network. That there was compromised credentials, specifically.
And how did that happen? How did those compromised credentials? What were the two areas that you found within their own system that should have been taken care of previously?
We found a lack of some security mechanisms that would have helped prevent this kind of intrusion, but because of the lack of logging, we weren't able to find the initial point of entry.
Lack of logging? They couldn't find the initial point of entry due to lack of logging? But this is the most basic log there is. Lack of logging. Well, let's dive into it, shall we?
We were able to find activity.
Can you talk about that, the lack of logging? What is that?
Good question.
There's a number of types of logs that we look at forensically that can help us piece together a picture of what's happened within your network.
And why weren't those there?
So there's a number of reasons. It's a risk decision, a risk-based decision. It can cost a lot of money depending on the volume.
It's a risk and a cost decision made by the company itself.
It can be, because it can require quite a bit of storage associated with some of the kinds of
logs. So the government contractor that we hired to do government work for
decided, hey man, they don't want to pay for storage.
I can buy a 5 terabyte drive now at Costco for $140.
Yeah. Well,
how many terabytes are the logs going to be?
Well, let's find out.
For us, decided that a risk and a cost decision on their part did not require them. They didn't put in the logins that were necessary to protect the system.
I can't answer that specifically. I can just give you some of the reasons I've seen that people are not continuing to have the historical logs because of the volume of data. There's millions of NetFlow records that happen a day, and that does require quite a bit of storage.
Okay, millions of NetFlow records a day, which does require quite a bit of storage. So let's say there's 100 million lines of logging. Then I'll ask the chat room. How many? What file size would that take to store 100 million lines of log?
If each line was a megabyte, it would be 100 gigs.
Yeah.
So the letter that
100 it would be 100 megabytes.
No, if each line...
100 million, yes, exactly. Yeah, 100 gigs, you're right.
Was sent by USIS to Ranking Member Cummings. Would you agree with the assertions that were made there?
No, I would not. We did provide them daily reports as well as a final findings report. We went over that with the team. Then we also provided a mitigation report, and I have documented evidence of all of that.
I have everything right here in my satchel. You can't get me? No. So this is what's happening with records of background checks. They are just, who needs to log that shit who's logging in? We all, okay. It's so obvious what happened. I had a company. We were on site at Silicon Graphics. You get admin. I was in Bankers Trust. We got admin logins. We were punching holes in the firewall to the outside of a bank. This is no one understands that this stuff is just, it's fly by the seat of the pants. None of this is secure. None of it. And now they can't. It's too expensive to keep logs. Yeah. So that's great. That's what it boils down to.
And everybody who's worked for the government, we do have a letter. One of our producers who wants to remain anonymous sent us a copy of the note.
Oh, that OPM sent
everybody.
Out. Yeah.
Now I'm going to. I'll probably clear this with him, but I'm going to put the entire note that everybody got this note that was in the government.
Yep.
I'm going to put it in the next newsletter.
Oh, nice.
As an attachment. Well, not an attachment. It'll have to be actually in the newsletter.
I
know a link. I'll link. It'll be a link in the newsletter to a file.
But why don't you do a block quote?
A block quote?
Yeah, in the newsletter. Like a little block quote.
What's a block quote got to do with putting the newsletter in there?
No, but you put the part of that email you put in a block quote. You always do block quotes.
What's a block quote?
It's a little block of quote.
Oh, yeah, I can do that, but this is a 4-pager.
Oh, okay. No, we can't do that. Link.
4-page block quote.
Link. You're right. Link is better.
But he's got all the stuff in here, and I'll take. He's got his name. He's got all his stuff. He's got redacted stuff, so you can't figure this out. I hope, and I'm going to assume that I can just run this, and he remains anonymous. But this came from the United States Office of Personnel Management, from the Chief Information Officer, who we just heard from. I'm writing to inform you that U.S. Office OPM recently became aware of a cybersecurity incident affecting its systems and data that may have exposed your personal information.
Squirrel!
Now, the woman just said there was no personal information exposed, but this letter says otherwise.
Well, this is from the second breach. The first breach, there was only the blueprints were stolen.
Every time they took a breach, they took more passwords and got deeper.
But do you know how much additional funding they asked for to shore up their system?
I can't imagine.
$50 million, I guess, to implement log files. and then I didn't clip this, but then one of the representatives said, we gave CIA to build their system $600 million. These are insane amounts.
Yeah,
this is and then
especially if they don't work, they say, "Oh, it's militarized, it's more secure." No, it's not. It's less secure. These guys are boneheads,
and they're lying.
Yeah, and then they're lying, and then they have the uptalker in there to make things worse.
I like her. I like her.
Can't take it.
I have everything in my satchel. I have proof of everything.
Just terrible.
Yep. That's your government dollars at work, people. And soon to hand off another $500 million, I'm sure, for a database. All Oracle, I might add. Oracle running on Windows Server 2003 or Windows Server 2008.
Or it's like what the Navy's got right now, which is a disaster waiting to happen. The entire U.S. Navy's running on XP. They refuse to upgrade. It's a big scandal because they're paying Microsoft millions of dollars a year to keep for support. Because Microsoft said we're stop supporting it. If you want to absolutely have to need support, you can pay us and we'll give you support. So there's a team at Microsoft that's dedicated pretty much to the Navy's contract, and they're supporting XP on the fly as the thing slowly falls apart. It's ridiculous.
That's probably why Microsoft did that in the first place.
Oh, I'm sure there was some element.
If I were Microsoft, I'd do that.
That's a smart move.
Yeah, I got an idea. Let's charge these guys for support that we won't give away for free anymore. Perfect. Yeah. You won't hear this discussed on any Tech Horny show, I'm pretty sure. Certainly not the log file issue. That's just insane. I have better log files than the U.S. government on my own email server.
Yeah. And what does it take?
Nothing.
Is it costing you a fortune?
No.
A log file.
Log file.
Just a line. You could do log files for a year and not use up a gigabyte.
Yeah. And it's highly compressible. Log files are text, so you can compress the crap out of them.
So you can slam it down to nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if we were running the show, we'd know what to do. But we got a different show to run.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple things we need to catch up on.
Okay.
Couple of things. One of the things is the Benghazi thing, which is going to be a thorn in the side of Hillary.
I didn't know it was back on the agenda.
Well, no, what's going on in the background, it's not really back on the agenda and never will because it looks like they've sent the hit squads out to take care of people. Now, let's play this clip. As soon as I heard this, I said, if you guys know anything, if anybody out there knows anything, you better either get a dead man switch or something because you've had it.
Okay.
The Pentagon has announced a U.S. airstrike in northern Iraq killed an operative with the self-proclaimed Islamic State. Ali Ani al-Harzi was labeled a person of interest in the 2012 attack on the U.S. diplomatic mission in Benghazi, Libya, and was accused of recruiting North African fighters. He was apparently killed by a drone near Mosul last week.
Oh, no.
Benghazi. Why don't we talk about something else?
Here we go. There's your cruise missile.
So that's one down.
Man, I don't know nothing. Oh, dang. All right.
So I'm just warning people.
Yeah.
Michael Wolff, I guess he's a media critic and he's a book writer and he's done a lot of, he's kind of one of these high-end guys he wrote the biography of Rupert Murdoch and people.
Oh, yes, that. I know who he is. Yeah.
He's a famous guy. I got a kick out of this.
He's an elite hagiographer.
He's in a very elite.
Yeah.
But I got this kick, which is another thing you won't hear on the normal tech shows.
Tech hornies.
I got this kick out of this commentary he made about net neutrality. Play the Michael Wolff clip.
What do you think of the president and net neutrality?
Wait a minute, is this Charlie?
Yeah, it's on Charlie Rose.
Nice. Okay.
I think net neutrality is one of those other issues in which the smoke hasn't cleared. And I would say that when it clears, the digital guys will be surprised because what they have done is digital has always been an unregulated business. By creating the net neutrality laws, they suddenly become regulated. And regulation then becomes a game of who has the best lawyers. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you...
And lobbyists.
And lobbyists. And I'm going to tell you the media companies have been doing this for an awfully long time.
Yeah. Well, the regulations are in effect officially because we passed the 60 days past publishing in the Federal Register. Even though the lawsuits
our days are numbered.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, for this show?
Well, unless we get a license, but then we have to kowtow to certain government regulations. And it's going to really be a problem if you cuss. That's going to be regulated. I can assure you that's happening.
Oh, boy. We're in trouble.
Well, we're going to have to hire somebody to beep out the show. Bleep, bleep.
We can't do it live anymore. We'll bleep. Have to, we can't do it live.
Bleep.
Well, luckily you are an actual journalist, accredited as such. So at least you can. Maybe I can operate it. You can deputize me, as a deputy podcaster.
You're now deputized as the journalist official.
So we had General Hayden. Now Hayden ran the NSA, ran CIA, and he of course now has his own.
And now he's just running.
He's running, yeah. But he has his consultancies, and he has a little company, doesn't he? Isn't he with some company?
I thought he was working with Chertoff.
Oh, that would make sense. And he was at a Wall Street Journal conference and talking about cybersecurity and Snowden. And two little clips I pulled from that. One about, as you always say, our real beef with Russia is Snowden. Right?
Yes, that's my thesis.
Do you think he was actually acting for a foreign government?
Intelligence officers...
Huh? I thought you said something.
No.
Just answer questions like that using inductive reasoning.
I hope so.
We go to
not information.
Not
intelligence.
We go to data, and then we're supposed to draw generalized conclusions from data. And I got no inductive trail that tells me Snowden was helped. On the other hand, if I go deductive on you, which is, this is what he did. How do I best explain it? I got my suspicions, but I'm not a deductive guy. I'm an inductive guy by profession, and therefore I have no evidence.
But he's
I'll just say this, and then maybe you can take it from there.
Right. But then we got this little ditty. Now, as we know, we had this big change. We went from the Patriot Act to the USA Freedom Act, mainly regarding Section 215. We still own Section 215.org, which we put up years ago, based upon what we were reading in the National Defense Authorization Act, Ethicaterra. And this is, the big change that was made as we deconstructed it is no longer is the government allowed to collect information and sift through it. Now the telephony companies keep the data, are mandated to keep it for 5 or 7 years. And then, it pretty much made it easier. They're all indemnified. They can pass off this. They can share this information with the government. And, so this was a big change. And the way it was presented on the outside, the way many, certainly in mass media, but also on, porny tech shows. Oh, well, it's all, we've taken care of it. The USA Freedom Act took care of it. No longer can this be done. This must really piss this guy off. Well, maybe not.
Somebody would come up to me and say, look, Hayden, here's the thing. This Snowden thing is going to be a nightmare for you guys for about 2 years. And when you get all done with it, what you're going to be required to do is that little 215 program about American telephony metadata. And by the way, you can still have access to it, but you got to go to the court and get access to it from the companies rather than keep it yourself. I go, and this is it after 2 years? Cool.
What a dick.
Oh, he's a total dick.
And then the wheeze at the end is like,
cool.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, he's a war criminal.
What an a-hole.
So a couple of things came out I thought were kind of related to this. One was a new Snowden, I guess a thing that was sitting at the bottom of the drawer in Glenn's or somebody's desk or the New York Times, which is the new Snowden revelation that came along to needle somebody.
British documents from Edward Snowden reveal how U.S. officials ordered a drone strike in Yemen to kill a doctor they believed was working with al-Qaeda in 2012. The documents, reported by the New York Times and Guardian, show how a joint U.S., British, and Australian program called Overhead supported the strike. Officials believe the doctor was surgically implanting explosives in operatives. The news has raised questions about the extent of British involvement in the U.S. drone program.
They inserted explosives into operatives?
Now, there's a couple of things here that are interesting. The story should have come out like months ago before the movie Kingsman, because that's an element in that movie.
Okay. Which I have not seen, but I hear is a real no agenda type movie.
It's a total no agenda thing.
Nice.
I saw another movie recently that is another no agenda movie, even though it's a little more high school type movie, which is Josie and the Pussycats, which has also got a no agenda theme. And I recommend that too.
Wait, I have to revisit now. Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Oh, Josie and the Pussycats is all over this. But the way I see this was just to bust the chops of the UK and the Australians, because this Operation Overhead was, apparently they're involved. It's not just Obama signing off on these drone strikes. You got the UK. We got our guys we want to kill, too. Meanwhile, the most interesting thing that took place, which is the clip, this is the clip, U.S. spying on France, which I thought was very revealing about one thing.
The government of France expressed outrage today after new revelations of U.S. eavesdropping. Documents released by WikiLeaks showed the National Security Agency spied on the last 3 French presidents and other officials from 2006 to 2012. Prime Minister Manuel Valls, addressing the National Assembly, said France will not tolerate such actions.
These types of practices are a very serious violation of the spirit of trust we must have. The United States must admit not only the danger that such acts have on our freedoms, but also they must do everything to repair the damages it created in the relationship between allied countries and between the United States and France.
French President Francois Hollande called the spying unacceptable and said President Obama promised in a phone call to end it.
Cool.
I thought this was interesting from the perspective that this leak came through WikiLeaks and not through the Snowden revelations, or in other words, it didn't show up on the New York Times or the Guardian, and which tells me, where did this come from? Russia.
Of course.
The Russians have been dogging all this stuff the same way we do, and so the Russians came up with some documents, and they'd slipped them to the WikiLeaks folks, and they just ran with them. They didn't care where they came from. And this is more of this gamesmanship being played between. This is giving us the needle as best the Russians can, and they can play this silly game as well as we can. In fact, we're not even playing it very well.
Huh.
So that was, to me, a shot across the bow.
I like that. Yeah, so what will happen next?
Well, it depends on what what we're going to do with all these tanks. I mean, this came right on the heels of the announcement
and the tanks
that we're going to load up. I think I have a clip about that.
Okay.
I don't know what clip it is, but it's up there somewhere.
Let me take a look for you. I don't know. I don't know your clip list. I don't. So people know I never listen to John's clips. I don't even read them.
Military gear in Estonia.
There we go.
The United States will deploy tanks and other weaponry across 7 countries in Eastern Europe. Speaking during a visit to Estonia, Defense Secretary Ash Carter said each set of equipment would be enough for a military company or battalion.
We will temporarily stage 1 armored brigade combat team's vehicles and associated equipment in countries in Central and Eastern Europe. This pre-positioned European activity set includes tanks, infantry fighting vehicles, and artillery. Estonia, as well as Lithuania, Latvia, Bulgaria, Romania, and Poland, have agreed to host company to battalion sized elements of this equipment, which will be moved around the region for training and exercises.
I'm pretty sure the host word is so that they're not using the stationed word or stored word.
Yeah, host.
Yeah. Like
for a meeting, we're having a meeting.
Like that exchange.
No, the Russians see this coming. They say, okay, we're going to show you something here. You've been spying on France. What else do you want us to reveal? You want to keep this up.
Right.
So this is kind of, we're getting a little no agenda, kind of subtle Cold War.
Subtle? It's not even so subtle. CNN was touting this. Cold War back. Brr. Thank God we got global warming to heat up the Cold War.
There you go.
And with that, I'd like to thank you for your courage and say, in the morning to you, John C., where the C stands for Confederate Dvorak.
And in the morning to you, Adam Curry. And in the morning to all ships at sea, by the way, and all the boots on the ground, the feet in the air, the subs in the water, and all the dames and all the knights out there.
Good morning to everybody in the chat room, NoAgendaStream.com. Good to see you all there paying attention, snapping to order as usual. And in the morning to our artists, thank you very much. Let's see. We had, this was Matt Basham brought us the art for episode 732.
And Baron Nussbaum brought us the art for the newsletter.
Correct. And what was so Psych was the episode 730. Oh yeah, this was the Mufont guy, the Quaker guy.
The Mufont, yes, very
great
well
piece of art. Nice piece of art.
Competitive pieces, but they didn't really hold up.
And you can find all of the submissions at who's calling me? Go away. At noagendaartgenerator.com. Anyone calling me during the show does not love me.
Somebody just does that routine. Maybe it's like an auto dial. Maybe it's a guy selling you something. Why don't you answer it?
No.
Come on, let's do it on the show.
It was a FaceTime.
Oh, a FaceTime?
Mm-hmm.
Who was it?
I don't know. It was a 44. It was a UK number.
Huh.
I don't know.
Well, somebody in the UK doesn't love you.
A lot of people in the UK don't love me.
Well, let's thank a few people who do love you. They're the executive and associate executive producers for show 733. Starting with Ben Todman from Mount Riverview, New South Wales, Australia, 33333. Hi, John and Adam. Thanks for making the BPITU. I've recently been laid off from my dude named Ben IT admin job and need some job hunting karma. Could you also please play my favorite jingle, the magical shape-shifting Jews? And thanks. Keep up the good work.
Shape-shifting Jews. Roll up. The magical shape-shifting Jews. Roll up. A little illustration. The magical shape-shifting Jews. Roll up. It's such an aggravation. The magical shape-shifting Jews.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
All right. That should get you a job for sure. Coulter Paget in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, $300, stepping up after being a 33 for a year donor. Information from a former meth user on Adam's favorite Richard Quest story. There is a thing amongst the meth community known as only gay on meth. Known only as gay on meth. Something about it makes your kink go crazy. And a lot of time, and then I lost
what? PayPal truncated this very important message?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I need to know the rest of the gay on meth story.
I don't know why it does that. It does it in different ways. It truncated the next one, too, curiously.
People, send me a copy of your notes.
Well, yes, do that, just in case. In fact, maybe he did. Let me look at it.
Oh, I can look it up, too. Yeah, hold on a second. Who is this?
Paget, P-A-D-G-E-T-T.
Paget.
Assuming that he uses his name.
Why does PayPal do that?
I don't know. It doesn't do it consistently. And I have to look into it.
No, I don't have any notes from him.
P-A-D-G-E-T-T. Andrew Paget. No. This is Coulter Paget. This is not Andrew Paget. Here it is.
You got it?
Nope. I got the donation notice from PayPal. Let's see if he uses an email I can search.
Forensics being done.
Yeah, it's a different. It uses a funny email address. Let's see if that works. Copy. It's not copying it. You know, when you try to copy, sometimes I think that's a clip.
It's just a Control C, John. How hard can it be?
You got to select. The selecting is the problem. Because if it's an email address, you want to it's just it's squirrel mail. What can I say?
One of the oldest programs known to man.
Hey, they upgraded. There's no message. Okay, so we never got it, so that was a waste.
Well, there you go. Good work.
Let's go to Sir Gary, who is also now the associate executive producer for Show 733. $250 from Arlington, Texas. Sorry this took so long, Adam. As you may recall, I tried to make this donation a few weeks ago, but for some reason, PayPal did not send it. I thought I should start on my second knighthood, so here's the first payment. As I said in my original donation, I was sorry you did not win at the podcast awards and lost wages.
Yeah.
Also sorry we were not able to get together for a drink while we were both in Vegas.
I was too drunk to get to your drink.
I doubt that. I am still hoping you will find time to come to Fort Worth at the end of July to accept your Podcast Hall of Fame award. So these are those guys.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a great event. We're expecting 1,000 people.
Huh.
Gary Knight, the knight who says, nah.
Another PayPal truncation. I'm going to give him a karma since he probably wanted that. All right.
You've got karma.
I'm considering. Should I just go up there and just accept the award with grace?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah. End of July.
I think you should.
It's tiring.
I think you should.
I might have a show to do.
Well, what day is
I don't know. But I don't know. It doesn't matter. I have a show to do. Oh, but Jen Briney's going. No. I'll be up there for Jen Briney.
Have Briney pick it up.
I accept this on behalf of the Podfather. Yeah. Make her wear a bikini.
Yeah, have Briney pick it up. She'll do it. She'd love to do it.
I wanted to wear that Japanese schoolgirl outfit.
She has one?
Yeah.
I doubt it.
Yeah, she does.
La Verdad Cigar Company. I think it's La Verdad in Round Rock, Texas, $200. Gents, thanks for all you do in the valuable media assassinations. Please credit this donation to my new endeavor, La Verdad Cigar Company at La Verdad, LAVERDAD, cigars.com.
Oh, nice.
As a special for No Agenda producers, if they purchase anything from the online store using the coupon code No Agenda, all one word, they will receive a 10% discount.
Hey.
That money, in turn, will be donated to the show. So you cigar smokers out there,
turn it up.
There you go. There's your guy.
Nice. Well, thank you.
And finally, Hans Peter
Fjeld. Hans Peter
Fjeld in Oslo, Norway, 200. Greetings from a dude named Ben and LA9STA, 33s. So 73s. This is my 33% of my tax return. Can I please have a ham jingle and a general karma? Shout out to fellow producer Thor.
A ham jingle?
We don't have a ham jingle.
Well, I got the...
You've got karma.
Mm-hmm.
And that pretty much closes out our section here of producers, associate executive producers, and executive producers for show 733. I want to remind people we do have another show coming up quickly. Coming up upon us, this particular show didn't really generate that much money from the Hey headline. I think you can only use that once.
I was wondering how that...
marketers out there,
wondering how
once is all you can do.
Yeah.
And this is, so we probably hope to...
But really, people should be donating for the product. I mean, if you don't do it for any other reason...
No, it's a struggle to get people to open a newsletter. But No Agenda, Dvork.org/NA, NoAgendaShow.com. You can find a button there and click on it. And also No Agenda Nation, I believe, has a button now still that just sends you to a donation page.
And these are, of course, actual credits, just like Hollywood. So we have executive producers and associate executive producers right near the, before the first commercial break, which we don't have, but we'll just call this the A block. And these can be used anywhere. They apparently work very well in your LinkedIn profile. So stick it there if you want to.
Dvorak.org.
I'm sorry? Say what?
It looks sexy.
It looks very sexy.
Dvorak.org/NA.
And you can also look extremely sexy by going out there and doing the very important work of propagating our formula.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Shut up, slave. Okay.
Well, there you go. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, we could do better, probably.
And I kind of liked the last show. I thought we did a pretty good job.
The last show was a good show. Yeah.
Results. It didn't hit me until this morning when I figured this one out. The president came out. Now, there was a lot of things to be obstructed over this past week. We had, or not obfuscated, I should say, hidden, moved from the mainstream narrative.
Yeah, with all the bullcrap news.
Yeah, exactly. Like the flags and stuff, which we have to talk about. Flag. We'll talk about the flag. But also we had the Human Rights Report. I think it's coming out today. And in the Human Rights Report, it pretty much says Israel are a-holes. They need to be brought before the International Criminal Court for killing Palestinians. So we probably won't hear a lot about that. There's other things I'm sure we're not doing too well, but it'd be not a lot of talk. And then the president came out with this executive order, which is, do they still do numbers? No, they don't. They stopped doing the numbers. We'll have to wait until it's in the Federal Register. We'll get the EO number for it. And this is the executive order hostage recovery activities, which was completely misinterpreted as far as I'm concerned. It pretty much says, well, we're going to put a little task force together. We love putting task force together. And with this task force, we're going to help the families, who have been threatened to be thrown in jail if they try to pay off someone, and just all about the hostages. And the way it was interpreted by right-wing media was, well, he's just going to negotiate with hostages. Kidnap. Just going to be more. Go ahead, kidnap Americans. I don't think that is what is going on. But I do want to play two little snippets from the president's. It was about 30 minutes in total. Interesting to me, and I think to No Agenda listeners, he really only had two examples of American hostages, which brings into question, this number of 30 hostages. Oh, it's so crazy with so many hostages. We have to do something about hostages.
As a government, we should always do everything in our power to bring these Americans home safe and to support their families. Dedicated public servants across our government work tirelessly to do so. Our military personnel risk their lives in dangerous missions, such as the operation I authorized last year that attempted to rescue Americans held in Syria and Yemen. And there have been successes.
So he's going to give us the two real hostage situations.
Such as the rescue of Captain Richard Phillips, held by Somali pirates.
Hey, Tom Hanks? That's your example? Tom Hanks? Please.
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks.
And Jessica Buchanan.
We know that was bull crap. You remember that? Who she was in the hospital. They went in guns blazing. Yeah. We got that video from one of our producers who was there. How when they almost dropped her. Remember that? When they were trying to bring her?
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah.
Rescued from Somalia.
Okay, so that's his two examples. Woo, big examples. But what is really happening? Something interesting going on.
Well, before you go into your analysis, because I have none, I do have two clips, though.
Oh, let's do it.
And if I have the two clips, one's Obama hostages, one, which I thought these are from PBS, and they were kind of giving him the needle. I thought the piece was ironic. They weren't sympathetic to Obama.
Beyond the ransom issue, relatives of beheaded journalist James Foley and others.
Yeah, notice the president didn't mention those. Right?
Complain of being stonewalled. Last year, Diane Foley told CNN's Anderson Cooper that her son's safe return never seemed a priority for the U.S. government.
As an American, I was embarrassed and appalled. I think our efforts to get Jim freed were an annoyance.
The president heard that complaint firsthand today in a meeting with the relatives.
Many of the families told us that they at times felt like an afterthought or a distraction, that too often the law enforcement or military and intelligence officials they were interacting with were begrudging in giving them information. And that ends today.
All right, so he says that ends today. And then the second clip, which this really kind of bothers me. Play this, and I'll tell you what bothers me about it, and then you can go with what's really going on.
Now, Mr. Obama has ordered a series of changes to include creating an intergovernment agency, Fusion Cell, for hostage recovery, naming a special State Department envoy to deal with foreign governments on hostage matters, and establishing an issue manager in the intelligence community to declassify information for family members. The president acknowledges the families are right to be skeptical, but he is promising there will be accountability.
Okay, what bothers you?
What bothers me is here we are trying to shrink government and save money. They add new positions. The guys that were doing this same job, in other words, coordinating, interfacing, let's say, with the families, shouldn't be the big douchebags they are, and they should have just been given different walking orders or different orders. They should have gotten walking papers afterwards. But we have a bunch of douchebags that irk the families, and they're just threatening to sue them or all the rest. And Obama says, well, we're not going to do that anymore either. Those guys are the guys that should have been doing the interview. You don't have to hire new people. What's the new people going to do? I just found the whole thing annoying unless there's something else that I missed, which is what I think you're going to tell me.
I think so. I think there is. And it was really one word that maybe dive into it. But also, if this was a long speech, I understand. At first I thought, it's just to cover up any other news that we don't want to have out there. This will bring some families in. We get some human interest stories. That's typically how it works. Here's this second piece I pulled from his announcement.
At the operational level, we're creating for the first time one central hub where experts from across the government will work together side by side as one coordinated team to find American hostages and bring them home safely. In fact, this fusion cell located at the FBI is already up and running. And we're designating a new official in the intelligence community to be responsible for coordinating the collection, analysis, and rapid dissemination of intelligence related to American hostages so we can act on that intelligence quickly.
You can probably guess what term caught my ear.
No, what?
Fusion cell.
Oh, yeah, fusion. Yeah. It's like, what does that mean?
Okay, so we have fusion centers. We know we've had these for a while. This is the cyber sharing information where local communities, local law enforcement agencies, even clergy, everyone's bringing, where companies will share their information with the government. These are all the cyber sharing laws, information sharing laws under complete indemnification. So I'm like, what is this fusion cell? What exactly is going on here? And as you know, executive orders, typically they relate to previous executive orders. So I'm reading through the executive orders I do on Wednesday nights along with my medical journals. And I see here we have something called the HRFC. This will be the Hostage Recovery Fusion Cell. So that is the official name, HRFC. And there's who will be in it. And, so, of course, Department of State, Treasury, Defense, Justice, National Intelligence, Central Intelligence Agency, FBI, and other agencies as the President or Attorney General acting through the Director of FBI may, from time to time, may designate. So this is an FBI operation. This is not a Department of Homeland Security, although, of course, they fall under the umbrella. But this is an FBI fusion cell, which is not the same as the fusion centers. I believe the fusion centers are run by DHS. So let me see what the guidance is of the HRFC. Identify, recommend hostage recovery options, coordinate efforts by participating agencies, assess and track all hostage takings. Oh, number 4, provide a forum for intelligence sharing and, with the support of the Director of National Intelligence, coordinate the declassification of relevant information. But really, I thought the intelligence sharing was the interesting word there. And I was just searching around for terms that I found in this executive order, and I come across Section 2.3 of one of my favorite executive orders, Executive Order 12333. This is the big one. This is the one that really...
This is the classic.
This is the classic. Enabled by... Which president put it? Was it Bush? Or was it?
I think it was Reagan, wasn't it? Does it go that,
I think you're right.
I think back that far?
1981.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's Reagan.
Right.
And in this, under Section 2.3, collection of information. Agencies within the intelligence community are authorized to collect, retain, or disseminate information concerning United States persons only in accordance with the procedures established by the head of the agency concerned and approved by the Attorney General, blah, 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 blah. These procedures shall permit collection, retention, and dissemination of the following types of information. And then under heading D, information needed to protect the safety of any persons or organizations, including those who are targets, victims, or hostages of international terrorist organizations. This is now an Uber spy center, this fusion cell, this HRFC, because now we have an official entity already up and running before the executive. Normally, an executive order gives you 6 months or a year to get everything into place. No, it's already up and running. This is going to be the central spying fusion cell of the FBI, where they are allowed to collect information to protect the safety of any persons or organizations who may be targets or hostages or victims of international terrorist organizations. That could be you and I. We could be targets. Who can't say that we're not a target? So I think this is right on the heels of the removal of Section 215. We've opened up this new little secretive thing here in the background, which will be under the auspices of, let's help people get their family members back. But it's really a big spying center.
Oh, that's cute.
It's well executed, I think.
Yeah. Well, because they could just cut to the chase and find the hackers who took those OPM files, and they would get most of the information they're looking for, which I'm now beginning to think the Russians were behind that, too. But who knows? All right. I like it. We have to keep an eye on this.
Yeah, the fusion cell.
So Obama got his fast track.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah.
And there's an explanation for it on the NewsHour. And I want you to, you really do have to listen to this, because I want you to, because there's a logical inconsistency about the report that she's very adamant. The woman who comes on and discusses this, she's a regular on the NewsHour. She's like the government correspondent.
The NewsHour is just knocking out of the park for us, aren't they?
They once in a while they get hot. And she analyzes this, and what she says on the surface makes no sense, but it's probably what happened, and it makes you really wonder. But anyway, play Fast Track, and then we'll talk about it.
The Senate is expected to vote today to give President Obama...
Oh, wait a minute. That's the wrong one. That is... We'll play that because that is the Democracy Now! Report on Fast Track, which also is worth listening to.
What is the other one so I can cue it up?
I'm looking for it.
The Senate is expected to vote today to give President Obama fast-track trade negotiating authority to speed up new trade deals, including the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. The secretive TPP deal involves 12 countries and nearly 40% of the global economy. On Tuesday, the Senate voted 60-37 to end debate on the measure, setting up today's final vote. President Obama has made the TPP one of his top priorities in his final term, aligning himself with the Republican leadership despite strong opposition to the deal from some of his traditional allies, including labor unions, environmentalists, and consumer groups.
In the end, 13 Democrats sided with Republicans to give Obama the fast-track authority. The 13 Democrats are Michael Bennet of Colorado, Maria Cantwell of Washington, Tom Carper and Chris Coons of Delaware, Dianne Feinstein of California, Heidi Heitkamp of North Dakota, Bill Nelson of Florida, Tim Kaine of Virginia, Claire McCaskill of Missouri, Patty Murray of Washington, Jeanne Shaheen of New Hampshire, Mark Warner of Virginia, and Ron Wyden of Oregon. 5 Republicans voted against the fast-track measure, including 2 presidential candidates, Ted Cruz of Texas and Rand Paul of Kentucky.
So let's kill them all. I think that was a funny report because she names names.
Yeah, that's new.
Which everyone should do.
Yeah, I like it.
Well, here's the screwball one. This is the clip is trade bill passed with weird conclusions.
After weeks of negotiation, the Senate voted today to approve one of the president's top priorities, permission to pave a speedy path toward an international trade deal. The fast-tracked Trade Promotion Authority would require the full text of any trade deal to be made public. It would give Congress up to 90 days to vote it up or down, and it would ban Congress from amending the trade deal. It was a big turnaround on Capitol Hill and a big victory for the president. Political director Lisa Desjardins joins me now to explain how it happened. This is literally the phoenix rising from the ashes.
That's exactly right. What a turnaround from last week when all of this blew up in the House. Now the Senate took it on, and here's what happened, Gwen. Change in strategy. Last week, those who supported this idea put together something Republicans like, which is this fast-track trade authority, with something Democrats like, which is assistance to workers who lose their job. Coupled those together. Well, Democrats realized there was a flaw there. They voted against the one part that they were expected to vote for, and the whole thing crumbled. Now, do-over, and instead the people who support this, including the president, have taken those 2 issues separately, and today's vote was on fast-track authority only. It had the votes last week. It had just a couple votes less this week, but it has made final passage.
And this time they linked it to something else that members wanted.
That's right. What they've done here is they've added to that second piece, which they've separated, the worker assistance. They've placed that inside a bill for an African trade deal that is very popular with, guess who?
Right.
The Black Caucus Democrats in the House. They're not going to vote against that.
Right. We had that before Democracy Now!
Hold on a second. Here's the problem I'm having with this factual. I'm sure this is exactly what happened. But when they voted against the fast track the first time, when the assistance bill was attached to it, it was thought that, well, that with the assistance bill attached to it, the Democrats are going to have to vote for fast track. And the Democrats all voted no. And then they said, well, it's a shame that the assistance bill wasn't passed because we had to throw that away. We had to throw away the baby with the bathwater because we had to stop this fast track. So they separate the two, and then they vote the fast track in, which is what? Why would you vote it in when it's not attached to anything? And then they had to move the assistance bill to an African bill to get the Black Caucus all worked up. So, you got to vote for it now. In other words, initially, the Democrats were voting against the assistance bill, using the fast track as an excuse. They don't want to help the workers. This is bull crap. They lied. Should I go over this again?
No. I didn't know if I was going to play the pet peeve or not. I was in limbo.
It's not really a peeve.
No, it's just...
I was stunned, and nobody has pointed this out. that apparently when Fast Track was attached to assistance, they voted no. But once you remove the assistance, which everyone says that's what we're for, then it got voted in. Are you kidding me? How could the labor in this country vote Democrat for anything?
We're messed up
by this.
We're messed up, man. Hello?
I'm stunned.
Oh, I thought I lost you.
I was stunned. I couldn't talk.
I was stunned by the entire country going apeshit over a flag.
This is where, yes, I have a couple. My favorite clip, I want to just play this right off the bat, which is the SC Hick on flag. So we get the basis for this whole discussion.
And the Lord don't want that flag flying on our State House grounds.
The Lord.
It's time for the Senate and the House to act. And if they don't do it today, the word will be that we'll be back.
All right.
Okay, there you go. That's the basis of the conversation.
Here is the CBS This Morning rundown of the issue with the flag.
Pressure is also mounting in the business community as chain stores and online retailers announced they're pulling Confederate items from shelves and websites. Sears, eBay, Amazon, and Kmart joined retail giant Walmart in halting all sales.
This was a massacre in a church, and the business community understands that. And I think as we enter the 21st century, businesses are more sensitive and socially conscious, and I think that's what we've witnessed.
This is cultural Marxism at its best, and I'd like to review, you being our staff historian, John, the Confederacy. The way it is, what is not being discussed, which I think is just incorrect, the Confederacy, was this only about hating black people and having them as slaves? Was that the only thing the Confederacy was about? Was that the core of the Confederacy? Was that what the South, what the Civil War was all about, was only about slaves?
There's a book by Kenneth Stamp who discusses what was going on during the era. No, it's not. It wasn't about. In fact, it began as a states' rights thing. We said we don't need it. We can't be pushed around technically by the federal government. They were against the idea, and South Carolina was the number one troublemaker. They're the ones who started the Civil War by blowing up Fort Sumter. And once that began, then everyone said, "Yeah, we're not going to be pushed. We don't need to be told what to do." It's still part of. Because the 10th Amendment was the basis for not being able to tell people what to do. And the slave issue was, I'd say, after we've reanalyzed it historically over and over again, was the crux of the matter, and it triggered some of this. But there was a lot of different reasons that it began at the time, and you have to read the documents from the era and what people were worked up about. And one of the things, which comes out if you read Karl Marx's discussion of the Civil War, which I didn't when I read it, I went, "Oh, geez, no one ever discusses this part." Is that slave owners had certain percentage of, if you had 100 slaves, you also picked up a couple extra votes. You could vote more. You had more than one vote in your in the state itself. I don't know about federal elections, but in the state elections,
right? And we've discussed this because you could then you could count
largely the slave owners.
Yeah, you could count slaves as
who saw this as a threat to their existence, and they voted to get this war going. And of course, they didn't fight it. They had the peons, the guy who, like you just heard there a minute ago, moaning and groaning, fight the war and die. It's a very complex subject, and it was called the war between the states, and still referred to that mostly, but in the South. But it was called that during the war too.
Well, it's very disappointing that no one brings this up.
Well, and then again, the South Carolina has a state flag. It's got a palmetto tree and a moon on it. It's a very funny flag. It's cute.
But also, even if
I don't know why they're running this flag anyway. It's always, I don't care. It's not my business. I don't live in South Carolina, but this flag seems gratuitous, and it's been a point of debate forever.
For a long time.
Now it's taken on a, like, whoa, what happened?
What will this big win get us? I mean, it only makes people madder at each other. It's only more divisive.
It's divisive.
Yeah.
Now the joke of it is everyone's taking these items off of, they keep, like somebody pointed out, this could be, I haven't looked it up. I haven't tried to find a KKK flag, but those are still available. Nazi memorabilia is still available on a lot of these sites that are taking away the Confederate flag. And that's okay.
How about the Russian flag? We should get rid of that, too.
The Russian flag's got to go in North Korea.
Yeah.
We do not need
This is the governor
to declare a winner and a loser here.
Of South Carolina.
We respect freedom of expression, and that for those who wish to show their respect for the flag on their private property, no one will stand in your way. But the State House is different.
So that's an important distinction. You can fly it on your own private property. Of course, you will be deemed a-hole racist.
Exactly.
A-hole racist. And by the way, both Clinton and Bush, but the Clintons certainly, Miss Hillary standing up there saying this flag's got to come down. When they were when Bill was running in Arkansas, they had, they promoted the new flag of Arkansas, which incorporated the rebel flag.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of campaign material which is floating around Twitter, which is the Confederate flag with Clinton Gore 92.
Yes, yeah,
I know.
And the events of this past week call upon us to look at this in a different way. 15 years ago, after much contentious debate, South Carolina came together in a bipartisan way to move the flag from atop the Capitol Dome. Today, we are here in a moment of unity in our state, without ill will, to say it's time to move the flag from the Capitol grounds.
Woo! Burn the flag! Free the slaves!
The thing that The thing that bothers me is the removal of Jefferson Davis's bust.
Well, let me get to that. This is Don Lemon from CNN, who, of course, he's the go-to guy. All of a sudden, the journalist becomes the source, the expert, because he's black and he's gay. I guess they double up because the South. We hate black gays. Woo! We eat them for lunch. We're crazy down here, man. And he's all in on this Jefferson, even the Jefferson Memorial.
He made a good point in the pre-interviews that we did with him, and that is this. Jefferson owned slaves. Mm-hmm. Thomas Jefferson owned slaves. Third president of the United States, and there is a monument to him in the capital city of the United States. No one ever asked for that to come down. Is it equal?
No, I don't think it's equal, because Jefferson was a figure that who was part of the entire United States, not just the South. And that doesn't mean that Jefferson was perfect or anyone is perfect. And our history is perfect. There may come a day where we may want to rethink Jefferson. I don't know if we should do that, but when we get to that point, I'll be happy to partake in that particular discussion.
Oh, yes. Community leader Don Lemon will help us get rid of the Jefferson. Just take a sledgehammer to the Jefferson Memorial, please. This is crazy. And there were white slaves, too. Hey, people, if you want to go get a history lesson, go to Hollywood and watch 12 Years a Slave. There were white slaves. People put themselves into slavitude. But
so
no.
Let's play.
Well, I just want to say everything will be now seen as some kind of symbol. Everything will be, you can't.
Symbols are important.
How about
Oreos are just as addictive as cocaine.
Oh, racial overtone. Sorry, can't have Oreos. Get Oreos off the shelves.
You could start a website and make that a cause celeb, and you could probably get Oreos off the shelf. Although it might not be a bad idea, because you would get a visit from Nabisco or whoever owns them now. It's always changing. Yeah. It would knock on the door with a check in hand. Mm-hmm. This is the way some of these groups do this. Check in hand, saying how much money do you want to shut this website down.
Let me play it again.
Oreos are just as addictive as cocaine.
That's right. This is an Uncle Tom reference. White on the inside, black on the outside. And this has got to stop. This is solving nothing. It's just making it worse. And it's like there's some big win. Oh man. Yeah, I can't live in the shoes of a black man, but
this is the one that got me. Besides the Jefferson Davis statue or bust, I think is in Virginia, which is where he's from. a flag removed in Alabama. This is the bandwagon. When you have Alabama involved, you know something's up.
Meanwhile, the governor of Alabama has joined the push to rid public spaces of Confederate symbols. Republican Robert Bentley ordered several flags removed today from the state capitol grounds. He called them a distraction.
Distraction. Yes, the whole thing is a distraction.
He's right about that.
The whole thing is one big distraction. Man.
You want to hear what Democracy Now! Had to say about it?
About the Confederate flag?
Yeah, here's just Confederate flag rundown, DN.
A new tally has confirmed white supremacists have killed four more...
Stop. That was you're playing the next story.
Oh, I'm sorry. My mistake.
Play rundown.
Rundown. Yes. Sorry.
Protests against the flag have spread. Mississippi House Speaker Philip Gunn has called for removing the Confederate emblem from the state flag, while Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe took steps to remove it from vanity license plates. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has boosted calls to remove Confederate President Jefferson Davis's bust from the Kentucky state capitol. Companies including Walmart, Amazon, eBay, Sears, and Etsy say they will ban Confederate flag products, and Google said it would remove the flag from its shopping service and ads.
It doesn't mean it's gone from the internet altogether.
And now there was all over it. And so to bring the points home that we're trying to make, Democracy Now! This is the one you tried to run.
I got it.
This is the follow-up story, the story that comes right after that. And this, to me, was the most gratuitous, racist thing they could come up with.
A new tally has confirmed white supremacists have killed far more people in the United States since 9/11 than Muslim extremists. The report by the research center New America finds since 9/11, white supremacists, anti-government extremists, and other non-Muslim figures have killed nearly twice as many people as Muslim extremists. Despite the intense focus by the Obama administration on Muslim communities, non-Muslims have carried out 19 attacks since September 11th, 2001, while Muslims have been responsible for only 7.
Oh, okay. That's, I guess...
Huge numbers. Huge numbers.
Hey, Whitey, you're a terrorist. Damn.
Black on black murders in Oakland are higher than 19.
Yeah. And meanwhile, forensics pretty, I think, there's conclusive evidence that the jacket that Dylan Stormroof was wearing had patches photoshopped onto it.
It looked like it to me.
Well, I got a lot of different links. I put them all in the show notes. It looks photoshopped.
He's got that. What about that board? He's got some picture where he's sitting. It's like he's holding a flag over to the side that somehow caught on fire.
Yeah.
And then he's got this almost the same shot with a stupid look on his face holding a Confederate flag. Yeah. This whole thing looks extremely sketchy with this guy.
And this Suboxone that he was apparently on, I got so many emails from people about this.
Yeah?
Heartbreaking, some of them. And I really love that our producers were sharing this. Let me just bring up a couple of them here. In most cases... our producers say, it really saved my life, quite honestly, the Suboxone. And pretty much without fail...
What was their condition?
Well, here, I'll say, let me get this... let me just get the right one. So some stories that were like, oh, man, this more about the healthcare system than anything. Sorry, I'm failing on bringing this up quick. I have so many different stories here. One of our producers was hit by a car. The car was doing 45 miles an hour. And, he was put on all kinds of opiates. And then they, I'm sorry, I can't find, I'll put the email into the show notes somewhere. I have this. And then eventually they have to be weaned off of the opiates. And that's when you get Suboxone, because Suboxone has two parts. It has one part opiate and one part Narcan, which really takes away all that's what they use to revive people who've OD'd on heroin or pharmaceutical opiates. And it's really great until your insurance says, yeah, no, we're not going to pay for that anymore. And then one of our producers, man, he almost died, because you get these withdrawal symptoms. So there's two things that I conclude from what people are saying about Suboxone. A, it's really helped a lot of people. to wean them off if their insurance company will continue to pay for it, which I think is a good thing. But the second part is if you stop taking it or if you mix it with more opioids, that's when really crazy stuff can happen. Now, if you are on Suboxone and you don't continue, the withdrawal symptoms kick in. And then just add one little element to that, and you can make someone go even without adding an element, you can make someone go really nuts. So none of this discussed, of course, because the big advertisers, big pharma, big advertisers.
And big insurance.
Very big.
Which really runs everything.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, I have this here. This is Representative Ross Kam on the...
I just love the more I think about it, I just love the way the insurance companies have inserted themselves in between the patient and the doctor. There's always, the government's going to be saying this, but it's been the insurance companies, which are the biggest supporters of Obama, by the way, were the insurance companies,
which are banks, which is just money.
It's a bank, because of the way the bank, right? The banks are.
It's the banks. It's Buffett, Warren Buffett.
Glass-Steagall was released. No, don't worry about it. The banks can do whatever they want. The banks took over the insurance companies, and the insurance companies are part of a bank generally.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing.
And Warren Buffett
to take our money.
Warren Buffett is a huge insurance and his investments in insurance, reinsurance, insuring the insurance companies. And here is Representative Ross Kam, and he has a list of all of the requests from different states for increases in premiums in 2016 when the Affordable Care Act really goes into full swing.
For the first time since the ACA became law, insurers are able to look at a full year's worth of data claims to calculate premium prices for the year ahead.
So this is very important. They are allowed to recalculate their prices. They have to submit the request for an increase, which, of course, they will receive, but it's based on real data. So now they know what it's really going to cost in 2016, not based on any estimates, not based on 2,000 pages of documentation that was made up. And just, if I recall, everything was going to go down, right?
Everything is going down because of the Affordable Care Act. There's a price. Everything's going down. It's going to save people money.
That's an important distinction. So we've got real data to talk about. The proposed premium hikes tell us a lot about how much healthcare costs last year and what insurers calculate healthcare costs are going to be next year. And on June 1st, CMS made public proposed premium hikes of 10% or more for the 2016 plan year, and many of the proposed increases are eye-poppingly huge.
It's already strange that you would expect decreases based on the promises made, but apparently we're getting increases in the year the president will no longer be the president.
In Maryland, Care First Blue Choice, which covers approximately 80% of the individual market, has asked for an average increase of nearly 30%. In Missouri, Coventry Health has requested an increase of over 22%. In North Carolina, Blue Cross Blue Shield has asked for an increase of over 25%. In Tennessee, Blue Cross Blue Shield has asked for over 36%. In South Dakota, one of the largest insurers, Wellmark, has asked for premium hikes between 24 and 51%. It's noteworthy that in many states, the largest insurers are also the ones proposing the biggest increases, which is especially troubling if you think about it, because they've got the most data and are likely the most accurate. We could go on, but there are a number of these prices have real consequences in the lives of real people. In other words, this isn't just about insurance commissioners and scholars. This is about what people are actually paying, and they're paying this in the context of a false narrative. And the false narrative, in my opinion, was this is going to be great, your costs are going to come down, and you're going to love it.
No. Up to 52%.
Now, why are they going up so much? I'll tell you.
Because they can.
Because the pharmaceutical guys can.
Mm-hmm.
They can take a pill that somebody would be getting, and they're getting on their insurance bill, they're paying $5 for a month.
Mm-hmm.
But the pill was $1 a pill. It's a very expensive pill at $1 a pill is like expensive because these pills probably cost 2 cents to make once the chemical is discovered. So it's $1 a pill, and so which is in a month, say you have to take it 2 times a day. So there's 60 pills for $60. But because you got insurance, it's only $5. It's a copay. Everything's copay. You don't pay for this. So you don't even notice this. Oh, the insurance company now decides to make the pill $10. Why? Because it's $10. It's just don't ask questions. We own the pill. We own the generic company that makes the generic version of the pill. $10. So now it's $600 a month of cost, but you still pay $5. You still pay $5. The insurance company picks up the rest with a wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and whoa, look how much it's costing. The rates of this medical system is costing a fortune, $600 a month. We're dropping $595 on this one person. We have to jack his prices up.
Someone's
this is the
getting
biggest scam
today.
I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And that's exactly where it's, and I don't care who anybody out there who has some chronic ailment of any sort, take a look at what you paid per pill, not what your copay is, your $5 or whatever the bull crap is. Take a look at because on your receipt you'll get from the pharmacist, it tells you, here is what you paid, and here is what the cost of the pill is, and you see there's a difference. Oh, you've saved so much money. Well, no, you haven't saved anything. Your insurance company will pick this up. And here's a prediction for people out there who are on Social Security. The problem with Social Security, which is, it's something, and is that to get this, I think it's Plan B or C. There's the donut hole. You take out real insurance for the drugs, and the drug company or the drug insurance company like Humana. There's a bunch of them. They take a certain amount out of your Social Security to pay for the premium. Right now, it could be it's a modest amount of money, but they could jack it up so you get no Social Security.
Right.
This whole thing may be designed to scam the Social Security system, so they take all of your Social Security.
I like it,
and I don't see any reason why that's not the plan.
I like it. It's kind of the Greek model. Just take away everything from the citizens, leave them with nothing but the Kardashians on cable.
So talking about the Greeks.
Yeah, we got an email from the ex-banker from New York who rescinded his initial prognostication about the Grexit. And he said, "Oh, I didn't expect them to tap in to steal the pension funds." He says, "Oh, okay. Well, I guess it's not going to happen." And he said in the email, they're going to kick the can down the road, which is what you said. So I give you 100% props.
Thank you.
I'll play a little clip.
A final proposal by Greece's international creditors is being put to Eurozone finance ministers, with time fast running out to reach agreement and avert a debt default. Ahead of an EU summit in Brussels, Athens missed a mid-morning deadline to propose a workable reform plan as talks resumed after breaking up in failure last night.
We are optimistic until the last second that there will be a conclusion. I want to honor here the role of the President of the European Commission, who is, in the best sense, the honest broker of the interest of the Greek people, of the member states of the Eurozone as a whole, and the interest of the communitarian institutions.
Greece's lenders set the deadline to unlock new funding and avert a default next Tuesday. There's said to be exasperation over Athens' refusal to compromise on some matters.
Yeah. So, kicking it down the road. Yes.
Well, so Larry Summers was on the Charlie Rose show.
Larry Summers was
the Department of Secretary of the Treasury for years under Bush. I think.
Is he the guy who keeps falling asleep in meetings?
I don't know that he does, but he might.
I think
but we never liked him. He was one of those guys we didn't like because he was lousy, and he wasn't like the stutterer, that other guy, the bald guy, but this cue ball guy. But he was always, he had certain things to say, and he was probably better than the other guy who sounded like the Beaver on the Leave It to Beaver show.
Wally?
So Summers is actually another one of used to be the head of Goldman and all the rest.
Oh, of
but
course.
He's actually interesting when he discusses things like Greece. So I have 2 clips. I have Summers on Greece, a debt position, and he's talking about how this thing probably won't collapse, and he gives some reasons why. But he throws a little tidbit in here that just got me.
Greeks have to be prepared to accept that level of adjustment with perhaps a bit of extra margin. They don't have to pay interest. They don't have to pay most of their interest. They don't have to pay any principal, but they have to be in a position where they're paying a little bit of principal back. They have to take steps necessary to spur growth by making their economy more flexible, by making more of it in the private sector. Europe needs, the remainder of Europe needs to recognize that Greece is not, in any remotely plausible scenario, going to be able to pay back all that it is owed, and needs to create an environment in which Greece has a chance to succeed by being prepared to provide further financial support and by being prepared to relieve debts. Europe needs to recognize that while hundreds of billions of dollars have been poured into Greece, most of that money has flowed right back out of Greece to pay European banks back who made imprudent loans.
Okay, so
given that, they need to make sure that Greece's debt position can get to a sustainable place.
Hold on a second. This was American money?
No, it was European money.
Oh, okay.
But the point is that he says just casually that most of the money that's thrown at the Greeks to get their act together went right back out, repaid the banks.
Yeah.
It's like you've borrowed $5,000 from a loan shark and you pay back, but the interest is so damn high you can't keep up with it. Somebody else gives you $5,000, you get the $5,000 back to the loan sharks, but you still owe 10.
Yeah.
So these guys have been put in a bind on purpose, and everyone's all over them. When in fact they probably, they're getting screwed. Now they're in a situation, of course, and of course he says that they're never going to pay it back, and they shouldn't really be required to. They just have to pay something. But the question Charlie then brings up is, what if they just do the default thing that everyone's going to say that the banker predicted and all this other stuff? And people are predicting this, and it's
not happening is what's happening.
It's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. But here's an interesting thing. Summers kind of concluded about if they even thought about it.
You point out in your piece that sometimes you don't see the consequences when you're making the decisions. Lehman Brothers, for example, didn't see the consequences of not rescuing Lehman Brothers. Long-Term Capital Bank, was it? Was that the official title?
LTCM, Long-Term Capital Management, the hedge fund.
Didn't see the consequences.
Some didn't. Many thought, small hedge fund, how big a deal could it be? Right. And it turned out to be a very big deal.
So my point is this one of those circumstances where, they'd be better recognized what the consequences are of Greece leaving the Eurozone? Because if not, you've got a failed state.
Charlie, the way I would put it is this. I could go wandering around with my eyes closed on Lexington Avenue.
Yes.
And most likely the cars would see me and stop and it would be okay. But it probably wouldn't be a good experiment to run. And in the same way, my best guess is that if Greece leaves, it will be a catastrophe for Greece. It will be a serious security event. My best guess is it won't be a grand financial disaster.
I agree.
But there's a chance that I'm wrong, just like the people were wrong about Lehman, and just like the people were wrong about LTCM, and just like people were wrong in thinking subprime was a well-contained small problem. And so there are some experiments you just don't want to run.
The risk is too great.
The risk is too great. And I think that would be, for me, the controlling reality. Now, look, of course.
Okay. It sounds to me like this is a great game to play, as you pointed out. You just keep shoveling money in, and you get the loan sharks in. Everyone just double their money.
And you use the word game, and Horowitz pointed out in the last DH Unplugged that finance head, that screwball guy that was
the
Texan guy that's really Greek. His whole he's a PhD. His real emphasis is on game theory.
Yes, I remember we played clips of him about that.
Yes, he's a game theorist. So he's not there. Whatever he does, he's right. He's going to, and I think Summers said it. They're not going to do any of this. They're not going to default. They're not going to follow the Eurozone. No. It's just going to float around. It's going to be kicked down the can's going to be kicked down the road forever.
Yeah, and everyone just keeps collecting lots of money.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, scam. Greeks are like the people being scammed somehow.
It's sad.
Can't get out of it.
Well, also now tensions are running a little high in Europe. We still have the Dutch. Like, hey, man, we want our money back. We gave you Greeks money, you lazy-ass Greeks.
They still want their bikes back.
Well, yeah, there's that. So the Queen visited Germany, the Queen of England. Yep. Boy, she had some baubles on, boy, I tell you. She had so many baubles that wouldn't even fit around her neck. There was a brooch of the baubles. It was a bauble heaven. And her tiara and just, ugh. And she said, we got to be careful. We've got a little bit of unrest here in Europe. And as we know from history, usually the Germans attack the French and then we get another war on our hands.
Yeah.
Dining with some of the most powerful politicians of the European Union. Queen Elizabeth II was the guest at a state banquet at the official residence of Germany's president, Joachim Gauck.
Why do logical people still put up with this charade? This horns. She's got her baubles on and a tiara. But what? Does anyone see the farce of this? It's just ceremonial. No, it's not.
As part of a 4-day visit. In his speech, the president said a constructive dialogue about the reforms, which some UK politicians are aiming for, is essential, and added Germany will support the dialogue. It was made in the presence of Prime Minister David Cameron, who was leading the campaign for EU reform, and German Chancellor Angela Merkel. The Queen, who as UK head of state stays politically neutral, stressed the need for unity.
In our lives, Mr. President, we have seen the worst, but also the best of our continent.
What was the best part, lady?
We have witnessed how quickly things can change.
Miniature land.
What's that?
Miniature land.
Miniature land. Yeah, okay.
We have witnessed how quickly things can change for the better. But we know that we must work hard to maintain the benefits of the post-war world. We know that division in Europe is dangerous and that we must guard against it in the West as well as in the East of our...
Them's fighting words as far as I can tell. We've got unrest.
Well, I don't know what she's talking about.
Unrest? Well, we're angry at the Greeks. The Germans are angry at the French. The French are angry at... the French... Everyone was pissed about the Waterloo celebration. We didn't even talk about that. The Belgians...
I didn't even know about it.
Yeah, well, it was 200 years after Waterloo, and which I think didn't turn out very well for the French.
No, Napoleon lost it. That was his Battle of Waterloo.
Right. So the Belgians, they minted... They minted a euro coin...
They had a beef with Wellington, you know that.
Yeah. Yeah. Bingo, boom, shakalaka. They minted a euro coin commemorating Waterloo, and the French were all bent out of shape over it.
Who did the coin? The Brits?
The Belgians. The Belgians. Of course, the Belgians. Yeah, exactly.
The Belgians? Why? Just to give the needle to France?
Yeah, I think so.
Kale.
It's time for Kale News. Now, I have not seen the series yet, but Orange is the New Black is back on Netflix, which I barely could watch the second season, but no, we'll see. And the nice little ditty in here.
Turn into a chick thing.
Oh, it's a total chick thing. Well, I like the realistic lesbian sex and stuff. That's kind of nice.
Plenty of that in Oakland.
But these, hey now. But these women are incarcerated, of course, and the one thing they haven't kept up on is, when you're in jail, is the incredible popularity surge of kale. But here's how it plays out in Orange is the New Black Season 3.
You should plant some kale. I hear it's become very popular.
The stuff that stays all day on a deli platter? That's a garnish, not something to eat.
It's supposed to be loaded with vitamins.
There you go. That's a garnish.
I didn't hear that. I got that clip too. I think they're gonna. I think it's something about they're gonna reject kale
and bring in.
Well, they don't know what they're gonna bring in, but they're gonna reject it because the message, the subtle subconscious message is, "Oh, prisoners are so stupid that they don't even like kale." I think it's kind of the messaging they're trying to.
Okay,
very high end. This kale program has been probably some of the greatest promotion in the history of vegetables.
I agree.
Well, I've got an odd. Here's a news item that we just play just on a train's good, planes bad.
Oh, do we? We'll do the
fastest train in the world clip.
All aboard, train's good, planes bad.
Woo-hoo. Fastest train in the world.
The fastest steam locomotive in the world. While that claim can be disputed and debated, no one can deny that Pennsylvania Railroad 442-7002 gained worldwide fame for her romp on June 12, 1905, taking Train 29, the Pennsylvania Special, to a reputed speed record of 127.1 miles per hour.
Huh. They don't even do that these days, do they?
They don't get to 120 anymore. That was 1905.
How did that what happened? What went wrong?
Well, we lost our way.
Dvorak.org/NA. Donate enough to be a knight someday.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh, yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda. In the morning.
It's going to be a quickie.
A few people to help us here on show 733. Beginning with John Stevens in Laguna Woods, California. That's interesting. They got Laguna Hills, Laguna Beach, and I didn't know they moved so deep that they're in Laguna Woods. Cameron Warren in Cordova, Illinois. We'll put a de-douching at the end of the segment when you give the because that's what he's looking for.
You got it.
Benjamin Garcia in La Habra, California, 113.18. Chris Facer in Auburn, New South Wales, $100. Sir Sam Leung in Toronto, Canada, $76.54. And all hail the annual Hay titled email. Well, didn't work. Pixel Haven in Middletown, Ohio, $69.69. Paul Peerdman in Happert.
Paul Peerdman. He is a huge contributor, always analyzing European news, sending me really interesting emails.
And we have him on the birthday list, I hope.
And we sure do.
Okay. Boing. Brent Knudsen in Appleton, Wisconsin.
And by the way, Cameron Warren wanted an was it Cameron? No. Benjamin Garcia wanted an F cancer in memory of Julio Hernandez, so we'll do that as well.
Do that at the end. Brent Knudsen, I don't know, in Appleton, Wisconsin, 6130, very long note, which unfortunately,
but he's a first-time donor.
First-time donor, that's good. I've been listening to Agenda since last fall. Been punched in the mouth by Derek Hughes. Doesn't call him out for anything. It's enlightened him and turned him on. He wants some jingles out. We could put those will come in. We should mention that we don't read all these messages and do all the jingles that people between 50 and 200 do because it slowed the show down to the point where the show is going 45 minutes of these. And people seem to still don't. We tell them that, but they still have these requests. But we do occasionally just out of the blue. Zach Pollock in Vancouver, Canada, 59.69. He says, the more wine I drink, the more donations you get. Oh,
keep drinking. Prost.
There is a Bordeaux in a lot of Costco's called Renaissance. It's actually just a Bordeaux Superior from 2011. It's got a beautiful, giant Lafite-type label. It's got a big picture. It's just like the label is just this big picture, and it says Renaissance underneath. That wine is spectacular. I mean, spectacular.
And what is it called again? But give me the name.
Renaissance is what you look for on the label. It says Renaissance is a Bordeaux Superior, 2011. All that adds up to me is it should be crappy. It is absolutely stunning, and it's $10.
Sure. Another tip from your No Agenda sommelier.
This will be worth it. The money you save on this wine is worth sending to the show. Anthony Garlinger, $55 from Parts Unknown. Oh, no, wait, there he is again, $55. He came in twice at $55 from Downers Grove, Illinois. He's got a birthday call out to celebrate the birthday of his twin human resource. Rio and Ryan rhymes with Kevin. Revan. The hardcore Star Wars nerds will recognize Revan.
Okay.
It's extremely long note.
That's all right. We got him on the list.
Okay, good. Sir Mac Tank in La Jolla, California, double nickels on the dime. Andrew Williams in Dulwich Hill, New South Wales, 5510. Sir Kevin Payne, who I believe donates to every show.
Just about.
5432. With the varying amounts, it's not always the same. David Oliver in San Francisco, California, 5150. Ralph Massaro in Kirkland, Washington, 50. These are all $50 donors from here out. Michael Britton. I do have a note that I have to go get. Michael Britton.
You want me to read them and then you go get the note?
Let me get down to it. It's the one. Yeah, I want you to. You're at Craig Jones.
Craig Jones in Danville, Pennsylvania. Mark Hackett in Downington, Pennsylvania. There's a couple Pennsylvanias right after another. Sandy Geisler in Watkinsville, Georgia. Then we have Stolowski. Yeah, Macy Stolowski from Alberta.
Candace Harris in Munster, Ontario. Brandon Mark in Tempe, Arizona. Patrick, it's Sir Patrick Metcalm in New York City, I believe. Mm-hmm. Andrew Martin in Turella, New South Wales, Australia. Jason Daniels in Dallas, Texas, up the street from you. Eric Von Martyr in Spring Hill something. It's all crazy characters.
Thanks,
Florida. And he has an RIP for Jack Van Martyr. Oh. Eric Mann in Spring Hill. Oh, I'm sorry. John Strag in San Antonio, Texas. And it was Eric Von Martyr that had the Jack Von Martyr thing. Rich Semmel, $50. I got this note, and you got a pen?
Yes, I have a pen ready.
Please add me to the birthday list.
Rich, what's his name? Rich Spring?
Rich Semmel, Semmel. He says, ITM from North Carolina, and thanks for your courage. Once again, it's been some time since I last donated to the show. The analysis, insight, and humor have been outstanding lately. Actually, I always feel like I receive tremendous value for the show. Okay. And you are now on the birthday list.
When was his birthday, and what does he turn?
It's June 25th. He's turning 52.
Today. 52
today. 52.
Good. Welcome.
And that concludes our list of well-wishers for show 733. We're going to remind people we do have a show coming up quickly on Sunday and hope to get our numbers up a little bit.
Yeah, we'd like to see that.
Actually.
And I do want to thank everyone who came in under the $50 level for anonymity reasons, typically. Also, our monthly donors. People just on a monthly. Do this. You know, we have 33s, 12s, 11s, 4s, 5s, sometimes per show, but it really does help. If we had enough of those, we wouldn't have to do a donation segment.
Right. Yeah, it's actually, some people are really generous with their subscriptions, and others, they just let them fall apart. I do have a couple of make good call outs for Father's Day.
Mm-hmm. Why don't you do those, and then we'll do our karmas, and we'll get into the birthdays, and we have a knighting today as well. So
this was a Father's Day from James Paul Durant. I don't know if PayPal cut off the message, but here's the thing for my Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to Godfathers of Media Deconstruction, us. And his name's Durante, like Jimmy Durante. Mm-hmm. Although I said Durant when it's Durante. And I should have known that. Here's another one. I sent 2 donations totaling $201, but no associate executive producer credit. We have to change it. Well, we'll put you on today.
Oh, okay.
Thomas Butterick. Put him on as you'll be the executive producer for this show.
Exec or assoc?
Assoc. Sorry, associate executive.
Assoc. Thomas Butterick. Okay.
Butterick. Yeah, he's coming in and out. He's a good guy.
He's in.
He said that was. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was a make good for Sir Ladyfingers is his nickname. You put it on a Sir Ladyfingers, and I thought it was a made good for a Father's Day. So here's one from. I think this was done April, May. This is already done. Okay, I think that covers it. Anyone else didn't get covered? Let us know.
All right, couple of jingles to play to make everyone satisfied.
You've been de-douched. Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
That's right, everybody. And remember, our show is coming up on Sunday.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Can we say happy birthday to Paul Piedmont? He turns 30 tomorrow, and thank you for your courage, Paul, and all the work you do for the show. Anthony Garlanger says happy birthday to his twins, Rio and Revan. They'll be celebrating on the 27th. Rich Semmel turns 52 today, and our word girl, Sammy, is turning wonderful today. Happy birthday from all your buddies here at the best podcast in the universe. It's your birthday, yeah. Word girl, Sammy, celebrating. She's really been loving the show because she's the word Nazi.
Word Nazis are good.
That's right. Here is the sword. We have one knighting today. Your sword, good sir. Thank you very much. All right. Gus Raya, step up on stage. You, my friend, have contributed to the best podcast in the universe, the amount of $1,000 or more, and therefore I'm very proud to pronounceate the Soraya, Knight of the Graphic Designers. For you, we have Hookers and Blow, Rent Boys and Chardonnay, Cheap Wine and Chili Dogs, Raspberry Pies and Breakfast Burritos, Pork Ribs and Pale Ale, Drams and DMT, Bad Science and Perky Breast, Johnny Walker Green Label, Video Games and Vaporizers, Progressive Rock and Russian Imperial Stout, Sake and Sushi, Root Beer, Pepperoni Pizza, Puppies and Taylor's Vintage Port, and of course, we always have the mutton and mead there ready for you at the round table. It's we need a bigger table.
Yeah, you can get a bigger table.
Just a little bit bigger. Go to No Agenda.
We have some little tables on the side.
Please,
maybe you should just split it up.
Side tables.
Nightclub.
Side tables. Go to noagendanation.com/rings and pick up your pick it up.
Ring.
Yeah, well, your ring. And I guess soon we'll have the branded sealing wax. Very cool.
Branded sealing wax.
So it was kind of funny. President Obama got heckled, and I'm sure you saw this.
No, I did not.
Well, what I'll do for you is I shall play now this was an LGBTQIAAP Pride meeting. And
if you think this heckle was like the ones we've seen previously that we've deconstructed and proven they're fake?
No, in fact, this was really... Well, it was strange because this is at the White House, and you'll hear the president say something about that. And it took forever. You'd think that if you start to heckle the president in the White House, that someone's going to throw a bag over your head within 7 or 8 seconds.
Club you within 5 seconds.
Yeah, or like maybe tase the guy. It's like, come on, man, come on. This is crazy. Now, the way it was shown on the mainstream news and the way it was categorized was very different than reality. And, of course, we are the guardians of reality here at the No Agenda show. So here is CBS. There's 2 pieces cut together. One is the tease, which, listen to the tease.
President Obama smacks down an unruly guest at the White House. That's next.
Whoa, he smacks him down. Smack, pow! Smack down! So let us listen to the report from CBS about how our president smacked down this unruly protester.
Today, President Obama hosted a reception to observe LGBT Pride Month, but he was interrupted by a heckler demanding an end to deportations. Here's how the president handled it.
Yeah, listen, you're in my house.
What? It's the people's house, Mr. President.
You're eating the hors d'oeuvres. You know what I'm saying?
Know what I'm saying?
And drinking the booze. I know that's right.
The heckler was led out, and did not get one for the road.
Yeah, no, that's not exactly how it went down, CBS, Mr. Paley. So there's the president saying, when you're in my house, that's offensive. Or should I not take offense to that?
No, I don't know. I just, it's like, it's
borderline. Now, you want to hear the whole thing, what really happened, and how the president freaked out and had no control over the situation? Completely opposite of what you just heard CBS say?
Wait a minute. You're telling me that CBS made it sound like he was in total control?
Smacked him down. Smackdown.
Huh.
Thank God for C-SPAN, where we can record everything.
I want to thank all of you.
And I want to mention that, when you're in the White House and you're watching the president, there's no need for everyone to be recording him on your cell phone. It's ridiculous. When you see the video, everyone's holding their cell phones up, recording him. C-SPAN, cspan.org. You could get this anywhere you want. What are you going to do with it? What happens to this video footage?
Here's what I would recommend. Yeah, the videos are dumb. For one thing, you lose. I've got millions of them. They very rarely look at them.
Yeah, of course.
Take a photo, nice one shot, you're good. But if you want to get the video thing, like you said, you can go to the C-SPAN archives and get the archive of the event. Find the C-SPAN camera. It's a pro camera. It's bigger. And go over there and mug.
Mug the cameraman? Mug the camera.
Hey, how you doing? Do that thing and do do a victory sign or something, and then make a copy of that from the C-SPAN library, and that's what you show your friends.
Yeah, that's cool. Then you were actually there. Cool. Yeah, that's a good idea.
That's a great idea.
Another tip from the No Agenda Show. All right, here comes, and this heckler was you can't hear him in this, but you'll hear the president. He was heckling about LGBT immigrants who are being deported. And I guess that's an issue that it's an issue that's not to be discussed, certainly not in his house.
Advocates, organizers, friends, families, for being here today. Over the years, we've gathered to celebrate Pride Month, and I've told you that I'm so hopeful about what we can accomplish. I've told you that the civil rights of LGBT Americans is... Yeah, hold on a second. Okay, you know what? No. Hey.
Now that was a great sequence. Let's listen to that again.
No. Hey.
Listen to that again. No. Hey. No. You imagine, does he do that to his kids? No.
That's the damnest thing I've ever heard.
And it keeps going.
Yeah, listen, you're in my house.
Bitches, you're in my house. Come on. So you think that he'd have the upper hand now, right? He has the crowd going.
Didn't play that cheer.
Yeah, and he should, the guy should shut up now.
I can't believe what CBS did.
Oh, we're not even done, John.
It's not, you know what? It's not respectful when you get invited to somebody. You're not gonna get a good response from me. No. Hey, I interrupted me like this. I'm sorry.
Now, if I were president at this point, I would be tase this fucker. But no,
I would be surprised that this has gone this long.
Oh, John. It doesn't stop. It gets worse.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
And people are going boo and shh.
Let it play because you're interrupting it.
No. Shame on you.
Shame
you shouldn't
on
be doing this.
Shame on you. Obama.
Can we escort this person out?
Escort him out. Come on.
You can either stay and be quiet, or we'll have to take you out.
Wait a minute. We're going to take you out.
No, I have 2 words for you.
Yeah, take you out.
Predator drone.
That's right. We're going to take you out.
All right. Can we have this person removed, please?
Tase him.
Come on.
What is going on at the White House?
And what is the guy doing that he's
just yelling and no one's stopping him for anything. The president is going to do the worst thing ever as a performer.
No, come on. Come on, guys.
When the president says, come on, guys, is that not when Kevin Costner dives on top of him or something? Isn't it time now that this guy is been silenced? No.
I'm just going to wait until we get this done.
I'm just going to wait until we get it done.
Let it play.
Okay, where was I? So, as a general rule, I am just fine with a few hecklers, but not when I'm up in the House. My attitude is if you're eating the hors d'oeuvres, you know what I'm saying? Okay.
So CBS conveniently cut out 3 minutes.
Everything.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, you get the clip of the day for that.
Even though I interrupted it and you were really pissed about it?
You did interrupt it too much. Because it was good. And you interrupted the second round of no. Which was like, what is wrong with him here? It's terrible. Yes.
No. That's
everything. You got to pull that.
Clip of the day. I have it pulled. I have it pulled. Of course I
No. Hey.
Outrageous.
No. I don't understand how that works at the White House. That this guy can go on for 3 minutes and...
Well, the other question, of course, here's what's going to happen. They're going to be a meeting with all these losers that work there, and they're going to find out who invited this guy is going to be the first question. Who invited this guy?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And would they fire? No, they'll scold them. Well, don't invite him again.
But it's not just that. It's the Secret Service. I can't believe...
where's the Secret Service?
They're not on it.
I'm telling you, you're right. There's something up.
Very strange. Very, very strange.
Yeah, well, you're right about CBS too. That was unconscionable what CBS did.
Yeah,
that is editing the news to make it seem like something that it wasn't. It wasn't a beat down,
smackdown.
Oh, it was laughable.
Yeah.
Well, that's the reason our show is so good. Who else has played that clip? Anybody out there listening to the No Agenda show?
Nobody.
Have you heard that from anyone?
No, no one even has.
Democracy Now?
No, they can't do that. They don't have the time in their hour to fit in the underwriters. Oh, man. I was listening to NPR a day or two ago in the car, and I tried to find it. I couldn't. They had this whole segment about, people need to sign up for the Affordable Care Act, and you get to the exchanges. And it must have been a three-minute piece. And then it was brought to you by Athena Health Group, or underwritten. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Well, the NewsHour uses Kaiser. They bring the Kaiser people. The Kaiser spokesperson comes out and tells you what's going on.
Yeah. And
all right, here's a little offbeat one before we're getting to the end here. But I want to play this because this caught my attention too. This, Sarnoff came out and he made this big apology, and everyone was shocked by it.
Oh, this Sarnoff, this is the Boston bomber, who now has received a death sentence.
Yeah, he's dead, but
he's not
he's
quite.
a dead man walking. Even though the Bostonians, we're against the death penalty. Well, I guess we'll change our mind for this guy. That's your liberals. Mm-hmm. Now let's play this clip. This is the oddity clip. And it's like, what is this? Okay, I got a thing that I think I figure out what's going on here.
Did that statement from Tsarnaev, the apology, did it come as a surprise?
It did, Gwen. It came as a surprise to everybody. We had heard early this morning that there was a possibility it might happen, but it wasn't until his defense attorney, Judy Clark, got up around 1 o'clock and said there's going to be an allocution. Well, an allocution could be anybody is addressing the court, but we're thinking, well, who's going to do an allocution on the defense side? And sure enough, it was him.
In his statement, he didn't only acknowledge his own guilt, but his brother's, and that was not part of his defense, obviously.
The statement was awkward. It looked like he was reading it. It was hard to tell. He was looking down, and it was very awkwardly phrased. But he said, in case there's any lingering doubt, it was me and my brother who did this. We are guilty. And so a lot of it was kind of poorly constructed. But
all right, here it is. Any doubt? It looks like he was reading it. Poorly constructed. It wasn't expected to do this. It was just me and my brother, nobody else. Our theory, which I still see no holes in, which was this was one of those FBI schemes that went awry. And for some reason, he had to go in there and reiterate there was no involvement in anybody but the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to assume.
Yeah, why would he even say that?
Why would he say that? What was the point? It was pointless. He already found guilty and he's done.
Yeah.
So it was pointless. It was something else, some bureaucratic reason. It was some sort of cover-up. And I have to assume that somebody this would be my guess if I was writing a story about it, writing a fiction. It would be a guy comes to look. You didn't really make it clear that it was just you and your brother. Because people are the conspiracy nuts are going to come out of the woodwork. Can you read this? And by the way, I know you've been found. Yeah, you've been found guilty, and they're going to kill you. But we have the out. We got the appeal, the thing that's going to keep you from death row, and then get you out because you were poorly represented by a lawyer that did nothing in your defense at all, zero. And so to keep this thing in play, to keep the game going, you have to read this.
Huh.
Or you're going to end up like your buddy down in Florida.
Right. But did he not receive now a conviction with a death sentence?
Yeah. But there's going to be suits. You watch.
Yeah, it'll take forever. Yeah, he'll never die. He'll die of old age.
He'll die of old age if he dies of anything.
Yeah, but good catch. Good catch.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of because it was out of the blue. It was crazy. And even the woman who was reporting on it thought it was fishy.
Yeah, he
was reading it. He was looking down.
Do you have a link to that, to the full text?
Of his
statement? Oh, okay.
It's around.
No, we have to find it.
Less than 10 minutes to go.
All right, 10 minutes. Time to wind it down, John. There was a moment. There was a huge moment in podcast history.
Uh-oh.
Yes, huge moment.
Oh, yeah. I was hoping I didn't find it worth discussing. Did you listen to that podcast?
I listened to the whole thing. I thought it was incredibly boring, content-free, and it really was set up just for one thing and one thing only.
Let's jump right in on this Obama thing. Okay, so he was on the Mark Maron podcast. He came right out and he used the N-word. Gail, let me ask you as a journalist, do you think it's okay for the President of the United States to just use the word just like that?
I think you have to put it in context, Larry. There's a difference between saying it and using it. Mm-hmm. And he was saying it. Right. He was saying it. So when you look at the context in which he was using it and how he was using, I admit it was a little jarring when you hear it. What did he say? But when you put it in context of how it was used, I get it. I wasn't offended at all by it.
I thought she said he was saying it, not using it. Now she says she's using it.
I knew you'd love that.
She's saying it, not using it. When he used it, when he was saying it, he wasn't using it. But when he used it, What is this? What is this gobbledygook bullcrap?
That's Gail, man. She's stirring mac and cheese.
Out of control.
Stirring mac and cheese. So here is the actual segment from the president on the WTF, the Mark Maron podcast.
Racism. We are not cured of.
Clearly.
And it's not just a matter of it not being polite to say nigger in public. That's not the measure of whether racism still exists or not. It's not just a matter of overt discrimination. Societies don't overnight completely erase everything that happened 200 to 300 years prior.
I think that was the only reason he was there, to say that.
Well, he could get away with it on the podcast.
And I didn't like. You heard the thing? Did you listen to it?
No. I only heard the snippet. I saw that was the key to it.
Right.
And I heard the reaction to him saying it, and that was that.
I didn't clip it, and I should have. The president comes into the garage, and Mark Maron says something about, I can't believe that, that I would grow up and then one day I'd have the president of the United States in my garage on a podcast. And the president says something to the effect of, hey, or he was denigrating, kind of it's just a podcast. It was he said something really shitty. I'll pull the clip for Sunday. He's like, it's just a podcast. Oh, you don't have to be worried about that, man. It's just a podcast. F you.
Not right.
No,
that's mean.
No, I'm sorry I didn't clip it now. Yeah, it was mean.
It's just mean. And what's he doing there then if it's so crappy?
Yeah. And I don't know. I'm sure Mark Maron couldn't do anything but what he was told to do.
Oh, yeah.
But he didn't ask any questions.
But
really, not really. It was disappointing. It was cool to hear the president say, hey, man, it's great to be here, man. Because now the podcast, you can say, man, it's all hip. The kids are doing, hey, man, did you tweet about the podcast, man? You know, I got the POTUS Twitter handle now, man. It's just like, ugh.
POTUS.
At POTUS. All right, Johnny Boy, take us home.
I think I don't want to talk about Brian Williams. That was kind of dumb.
No.
Oh, yeah, okay, we can take you home with this. This is good stuff. This is the UN sex abuser 1. This is the sex abuser. I got 2 clips. Sex abuser pun.
That's your version of 1?
Well, no, this is a pun.
It's an actual pun. Oh, okay. Play?
Yeah.
United Nations peacekeepers in the Central African Republic have been accused of sexually abusing street children in the capital, Bangui.
Bangui! Woo!
You know what? I usually don't do it on these short ones, but I'd like you to accept clip of the day for that.
Okay.
I think you should take that. That was really good.
Clip of the day.
United Nations peacekeepers in the Central African Republic have been accused of sexually abusing street children in the capital, Bangui.
All right, now we go to the second one, which actually has a punchline, which is more about the UN sex abuse.
The news comes after an internal UN report surfaced in April detailing the alleged sexual abuse of children by French and African troops in the Central African Republic. The report was leaked to French prosecutors by a UN whistleblower who was suspended, making him the only person so far to be punished over the sexual abuse allegations.
Yes, the whistleblower gets thrown in the slammer. Welcome to the modern world.
That's right. Oh, man. This is good. Thank you. I needed that. Perfect ending, John. Perfect.
Thank you very much.
There's nothing like living in Bangui. Woo! All right, everybody. We will return to the podcast on Sunday. Right? Sunday. Thank you, everybody, for supporting what we're doing here with your productions, your emails, your story ideas, and, of course, your financial contributions. Remember us at Dvorak.org/NA. Until the next time, Gitmo Nation, coming to you from FEMA Region 6 in the capital of the Drone Star State here at the Crackpot Condo in downtown Austin. In the morning, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where global warming is doing its best to burn the state to the ground, I'm John C. Dvorak.
We'll be back on Sunday right here on No Agenda.
No. Hey.
United Nations peacekeepers in the Central African Republic have been accused of sexually abusing street children in the capital, Bangui.
There's no real conflict.
Boom shakalaka. Boom shakalaka.
John and Adam, who can I turn to? Give me something I can hold on to.
Koch brothers!
When all the memes are trying to pull me on down.
Hey, citizen!
With no agenda, I finally can turn it around.
Our formula is this.
Listen to No Agenda, trying to keep us sane. Listen to No Agenda, NOAGNDAA.
Oh my God, that is amazing!
NOAGNDAA. John and Adam, you're the guys for me.
I have 2 words for you. Predator's bonus.
Oh, you don't know me, but you make me so
You will never see it coming.
Never been a podcast like this before. Your brilliant deconstruction is what we all cried out for.
And they actually had a good time.
Listen to No Agenda, trying to keep us sane. Listen to No Agenda.
against those who try to distort our religion.
We can't wait.
No agenda, trying to keep us safe. Listen to no agenda, N-O-A-G-E-A. Win, lose, or draw.
Koch brothers!
Don't eat me, Hillary Clinton.
Yes, the beaches are back open! Woohoo! Yeah!
Dvorak.org/NA. Donate enough to be a knight someday.
No. Hey,
That's how we go. That's how we roll.
That's all, folks.
and that's the story.
Adios, mofo.
The best podcast in the universe. Dvorak.org/NA.
Amen. Fist bump.